And verse 39. We will give praise, glory, and honor to the Most High Yah by way of His Son Yahushua HaMashiach, and get this party started. The Buffeting Road out here by the Shriners Temple. Any of y'all on here familiar with Shriners? I can't hear you, man. You sound 1,000 miles away. I don't understand nothing you say. Nobody can understand you. Oh boy. Yeah, you know, they everywhere now. They everywhere. We're going to talk about them a little bit this evening. And a couple of people who have dealings with them. John 5:39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life. And there they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. And that's when it comes down to it, a lot of people just don't have the love of the Most High in them. And they do things that are just not needed according to right. I want you to come back to Micah chapter 4 or something that we looked at Wednesday. And I want to look at it again. Because it's a very profound thing that's stated. It's in Micah chapter 4. And about verse 4. Micah 4 and 4. Listen. Listen, think you're going to get food. But they shall sit every man under his vine and under his fig tree, and none shall make them afraid, for the mouth of Yahuwah of hosts hath spoken. For all people will walk every one in the name of his God, and we will walk in the name of Yahuwah our Elohim forever and ever. What do most of y'all know about the Shriners? What do y'all know about them? I'm going to see what y'all know about them. Y'all know anything about them? Y'all know anything about them, period? I'll take that resounding silence as a no. I know you. Actually, ain't even nowhere close to Catholicism. It is, and actually, let me take that back. It is similar because Catholicism and Islam are the same thing. Shriners are a branch of Freemasonry. Shriners was started in 1870. The actual name of Shriners is the Ancient Arabic Order of the Mystic Shrine. When you sit back and you see them, you know what they have on their heads? They had that fez on, right? And the tassel. You know who else wears that fez and that tassel? The Moors do. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm going to read y'all a little piece of information here. Now they were started in August 13th, 1870. In New York City. They met at the Knickerbocker Lounge. They adopted a Middle Eastern theme and soon temples. He said, though the term temple has now been replaced by Shrine Auditorium or Shrine Center. Because you know if they call it a temple, now you know what that means if it's a temple. What does it mean if it's a temple? It was a place of worship. It was started by two white men, one named Florence and one named Fleming. It says, so earlier, you know, how many of y'all have ever seen, how many of y'all been in downtown Jacksonville on a regular basis? How many of y'all who've been in downtown Jacksonville, how many of y'all have seen the Cecil W. Powell building? Come on, kids. The Cecil W. Powell building. Don't mind this. The Cecil W. Powell building is the building downtown with the two sphinx in front of it. That was the original Shriner Hall. They moved from down there in the 1980s because they said they got tired of getting mugged.
Sit down now.
I'm going to read you some information right here. I'm going to read you some information. It's located on 219 Newman Street. It is a historic place according to the United States government. They moved out to St. John's Bluff where they currently resides because they wanted more space and room to park. too many of their members were getting mugged that night. But the reason why I mention this, and I've mentioned this to y'all before, inside this Masonic hall, they have oil-painted murals with scenes of Jesus, King Solomon, and Mecca. Because y'all know about King Solomon, right? So I want you to hold what you got here in Micah and come over here to 1 Kings 11:1. Y'all know the stories that the Masons teach about King Solomon. Y'all know what they say about? They say some crazy stuff about King Solomon. They say King Solomon was the first Mason. So I'm going to show you some other stuff about what they say about this here too, about a particular man named Hiram Abif. And I'm where they get this information from. And they try to say that Hiram come about this book and that Hiram was a Mason. See, they hold King Solomon in high regard. See, to become a Freemason, you basically got to say you're a Christian. You know what I'm talking about? But when you become a Shriner, you cross over to the east. That's why they call themselves the Ancient Arabic Order of the Mystic Shrine. And you become a Muslim. And in actuality, they call themselves mocking Islam, just like Masons call themselves mocking Christianity. I just found out today that you can become a Shriner now after becoming a Master Mason. If you don't know what Master Mason is, that's just the 3rd degree. Previously, you could only become a Shriner if you completed the Scottish Rite, which is 33 degrees, or York Rite, which is 14 degrees. That means you had to be high up there. Franklin Roosevelt was a Shriner. Many famous, influential politicians and celebrities were Shriners. The man who created the back of the United States dollar bill, I can't remember his name at this time, 33rd degree Freemason. That's why you see the stuff that's on there. You know what I'm saying? Now it says, but King Solomon loved many strange women together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites. I just want y'all to keep this in mind about the Moabites. I'm reading it for a reason. The Ammonites and the Edomites and the Zidonians and the Hittites. Of the nations concerning which Yahuwah said unto the children of Yasharal, you shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you, for they will surely turn away your heart after their gods. And Solomon clave unto these women in love, unto these in love. And he had 700 wives and princesses and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart. For it came to pass when Solomon was old that his wives turned away his heart after other gods, and his heart was not perfect with Yah his God, as was the heart of David his father. For Solomon went after Ashtaroth, the goddess of the Zidonians, and after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites. And Solomon did evil in the sight of Yahuwah, and went not fully after Yahuwah, as David his father. Then Solomon did build a high place for Chemosh, the abomination of Moab. And in the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon. And likewise did he for all his strange wives, which burnt incense and sacrificed under their gods. Now I want you to go for, I want you to hold something, and I want you to come to 1 Corinthians chapter 7. And I'm speaking to the people who ain't married and want to be married. See, because now it's something that what happened here to Solomon here before we even come back and look at this here. I want you to look at 1 Corinthians chapter 7. And I want you to look at about verse 11. Live, sit it down, calm it down. So make it 10. He said, and unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Lord, let not the wife depart from her husband. But and if she depart, let her remain unmarried and be reconciled to her husband, and let not the husband put away his wife. But to the rest speak I, not the Lord. If any brother had a wife that believed not, and she be pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away. And the woman which have a husband that believed not, and he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him. See, now you're going to sit back and you're going to see, you say, well, why did we come and look at this? And you can move your way down about verse 27 or 25. See, this is what Solomon didn't sit back and realize. Was this woman pleased to dwell with him? Were these women pleased to dwell with him? You sure about that? You sure about that? You sure about that? The women could have been pleased to dwell with him. Huh? So she could have been pleased to dwell with him. You know what I'm saying? So you know what he ended up doing? Because he didn't want that woman to leave, you know what he did? He compromised for her. He compromised for her. You know what I'm saying? See, hold what you got before we even read verse 25. Go back to Nehemiah 13. See, the reason why I'm doing this is what we ended up doing with America. So we done cleave to America and love, so we end up compromising to them. So you know what ends up happening? Our heart don't end up being perfect towards our God like it's supposed to be. And then we end up committing sin and great error, and his wrath come upon us. You understand what I'm saying? It even come back when you're dealing with sinners, man. You're dealing with people. You have to be careful now. Look at Nehemiah chapter 12 and about verse 25. We just talked about 24, we just 23. And again, I'm talking about, y'all keep seeing Moab. I'm going to Moab for a reason. Make it 23. Nehemiah 13, not 12. Nehemiah 13 and 23. I'm going to Moab for a reason, everybody. It says, in those days, also saw I Yahudim that married the wife of Ashdod and of Moab, of Ammon and of Moab. And all of their children spake half in the speech of Ashdod and could not speak. Hold on, pardon me. We'll get back to that in a minute. And could not speak in the Yahudim's language, but according to the language of each people. And I contended with them and cursed them and smote certain of them and plucked off their hair and made them swear by Elohim, saying, ye shall not give your daughters unto their sons, nor take their daughters unto your sons, or for yourselves. Did not Solomon, king of Yasharal, sin by these things? Yet among many nations was there no king like him, who was beloved of his Elohim, and Elohim made him king over Yasharal. Nevertheless, even him did outlandish women cause to sin. And I'm going to tie this back into what we were talking about a couple weeks ago, when we were talking about that woman in Isaiah 47. Y'all remember that? That loud and stubborn woman. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that? Now listen to what he said. Shall we hearken unto you, and do all this great evil, to transgress against our power, and marrying strange wives? Even when you turn around and look at it, y'all, you know, Apostle Paul told us to not be unequally yoked with unbelievers. You just sit back and look at it, man. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they're a seed of Yasharal or not. Like I said, you mentioned, like you see the other people who wear the fez, it's the Moors. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if they're black and they're a Moor. You're going to fool with them, you're going to be a Moor. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be around here talking about your name is James L. Bay. And I ain't just saying Bay for no reason, because they changed their name to that, B-E-Y. They throw that Bay on the back. They throw that L. You know if they throw an L in the back of their name, you know what they saying. They saying they God. And they do that. Y'all know most deaf. He over there talking about his name is Yasmin L. Bay. They won't let him come back over here. He need to keep his stupid Bay behind right over there where he at. Yeah, they changed their name, they put that in the back. My cousin just got down with that stuff. I read the Moore's Quran in prison, man. The nigga came up with his own Quran. We don't deal with it in a minute, because some of y'all know what I'm talking about and some of y'all don't. And don't nobody say his name. We get to it. The nigga came up with his own Quran. See, we're sitting here telling you, like, when I mentioned to y'all Dr. York, when I told y'all Wednesday, we used to read this nigga stuff. You know what I'm saying? See, a lot of the people who I'm mentioning, some of y'all don't know who they are, but these men had a lot of great influence on a lot of people, and still do. And still do. And still do. Some of these niggas been dead for decades. You know what I'm saying? And still, y'all look like, man, I don't know who Malachi Z. York is. I don't know who no Wentworth Matthews is. I don't know who this nigga, I don't know who Farrar Muhammad is. I've heard of Elijah Muhammad. I don't know much about him. These men hold major influence, and men who call themselves leading and teaching black people at this present time were influenced by these men. No, Malachi York's still alive. You know what I'm saying? See, I'm telling y'all, I told y'all way before, Malachi York went from Christianity to Judaism, to Islam, to Egyptology, to mysticism, to a mix of everything, and called himself a new Wahhabi. How you all messed up? That nigga Paul White, that nigga in New York, everybody, he came up under Dr. York. See, he only make it seem like Dr. York taught Egyptology. Dr. York was mixing everything together. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, hold what you got. Come over to 2 Corinthians chapter 6. Might be 5 I want. Man, a brother told me something today, man. A brother told me, brother told me, a man told him that this 1 Corinthians chapter 8 I want. Verse 1. Brother told me, this still dealing with everything we talking about. Brother told me, a brother told him all the idol gods you read about, all of them the same God, they work up under y'all. So he say Horus work up under y'all, Isis work up under y'all, they all work up under y'all. Same thing I said. That passport doctrine, that's pure utmost stupidity. That's what that is, straight blasphemy. 1 Corinthians 8 and 1. Listen what he said. Now as touching things offered unto idols, we know that we all have knowledge. There's a reason why I came here for this here, man. I'm telling you. And we're going to look at this in a minute. Listen what he said. As touching things offered unto idols, we know we all have knowledge. Listen to what he says. Knowledge puff up. Lord, edify. Y'all know what that means when they say knowledge puff up and still hold you Nehemiah 13 and 1 Corinthians chapter 7. Lord will. God, you know what I'm saying? Make it all flow and rolling together. What you think that means when we say knowledge puff up, but love is edify? Put it up. What y'all think that means? What do you think Paul telling you? Come on, hold what you got. Look at Ecclesiastes chapter 12. See his son Solomon's going to tell you right here. 12 and 12. We'll make it 11. It says, the words of the wise are as goads and as nails fastened by the master of assemblies, which are given for one shepherd. So you know if it means the word goad, that means they motivate. Now can we sit back and see if the words of the wise motivate? Let's turn around and see if we can see where the words of the wise motivate. Keep your spots in 1 Corinthians chapter 8, 1 Corinthians chapter 7, Nehemiah chapter 13. But now we need to see, do the words of the wise motivate? Do you think we can find and see what the words of the wise motivate? Well, let's look and see. Let's look over here at Matthew. Let's see which spot we want to go to first. I think Matthew 21 and 31 sounds good to me. Make it 27. Matter of fact, make it 23. Matthew 21 and 23. I work my way around. Are we talking about looking at how the words of the wise motivate? Because that means these words will motivate you to do a particular thing. That's when you sit back and look at it. Anybody that, like I said, man, you look at coaches, no matter what they coach is, their job is to motivate people to do things. Go sit down, Saints. And when he was coming to the temple, the chief priests and the elders of the people came unto him as he was teaching, and said, by what authority do thou these things, and who give thee this authority? If you teaching, then you got to know that he's speaking wise words if he's teaching right. It says, and Yahusha answered and said unto them, I will also ask you one thing, which if you tell me, I am likewise will tell you by what authority I do these things. The baptism of John, whence was it? From Shammahim or men? And they reasoned with themselves, saying, if we shall say from Shammahim, he will say unto us, why do you not believe him? But if we shall say of men, we fear the people, for all hold John as a prophet. And they answered Yahusha and said, we cannot tell. You told you see, you know, in this ended up too. He see, the Lord edified and instruct. See, they were puffed up with their knowledge because they were more worried about how they were going to be seen by men. You know what I'm saying? That's all they were worried about. They turned around and they looked at it. We said, man, we scared of the people because they hold John as a prophet. Because they know John came out there and edified and instructed the people because he had a love for Yah first and a love for his people, quite naturally. Let's sit down and look at the next thing he said. And they answered, he said, And they answered Yahushua and said, we cannot tell. And he said unto them, neither tell I you by what authority I do these things. But what think you? A certain man had 2 sons, and he came to the first and said, son, go to work today in my vineyard. He answered and said, I will not. But afterward he repented and went. And he came to the second and said likewise, and he answered and said, I go, sir, and went not. He said, which of them twain did the will of his father? They said unto him, the first. Yahushua saith unto them, truly I say unto you, that the publicans and the harlots go into the kingdom of Elohim before you. For John came unto you in the way of righteousness, and you believed not. But the publicans and the harlots believed him. And when you had seen it, and repented not afterwards, that ye might believe him. Now why would these people turn around and believe him? Let's look at what John the Yahanan of the Mercer said to these people in Matthew chapter 3. Let's look at what he told these people in Matthew chapter 3. We'll look at verse 1. Because the words of a wise man ought to motivate you to change your life and do things or whatever it might be. I give you an example. Like I told you the other day, I had a chance to, instead of working with me, to actually oversee him and motivated him to do stuff that he would have never did on his own. He would have never got in that hack squat, right, and squatted 150 pounds 17 times. He would have been motivated and did that on his own. He wouldn't even tried it. Just like I had Candace, she wouldn't have tried to put 200 pounds on the leg press machine, much less do it 20 times. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say the words of the wise men is gold, they motivate us. When you turn around and you look at Yahushua and you look at the prophets, you know what I'm talking about? They were coming to motivate you. Their words would motivate you to a particular way. That's why he told Ezekiel, tell them whether they hear or whether they forbear. Maybe my words will motivate them to change their life. You know what I'm saying? Ain't gonna force you to do it. We're just trying to get you a little nudge. You know what I'm saying? Push you in the right direction. They attacked him. In those days came Yahanan the Mercer preaching in the wilderness of Yehuda, saying, repent, for the kingdom of Shamayim is at hand. For he is that which was spoken of by the prophet Isaiah, the voice of one crying in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of the Lord, make his pathway straight. And that same John in his raiment had a raiment of camel hair, and a leathern girdle about his loins, and his meat was locusts and wild honey. Then went out to him Jerusalem and all of Judea, and all the region round about Jordan, and they were baptized of him in Jordan, confessing their sins. So if this man is coming down here preaching to repent and make the pathway straight, don't you think his words motivated the people to confess their sins? It motivated them to do it. When you turn around and look at a Mashiach, when you tell them, well, what you think I got by this authority to do this? See, I want you to look at Luke chapter 13 and see if his words are going to motivate you. I just want y'all to see that Luke 13 and 1. Listen to what he tells me. See if this is a motivation for you. Stanks. Come here, Stanks. Come here, Stanks. Come here, Visit. Come on, Visit. Come on, Visit. And you want to mimic listen. 13 and 1. They were present at that season some that told him of the Galileans, whose blood Pilate had mingled with their sacrifice. Yahushua answering said unto them, suppose ye that these Galileans were sinners above all Galileans, because they suffer such things? I tell you nay. But except ye repent, ye shall all likewise perish. Of those 18 upon whom the tower in Shalom fell, and slew them, think ye that they were sinners above all men that dwell in Jerusalem? I tell you nay, but except ye repent, ye shall all likewise perish. Now don't you think his words would be a motivation? That when you sit back and look at it, it's the same thing I'm telling you. Y'all sit back and you see stuff happen to sinners, and you sit back and look at it, oh, that happened to them because they sinners, and this, that, that, and the other. But he's sitting here telling you, but I'm telling you, you think they were worse than the worst. I'm telling you no. I'm telling you no. Because if you don't repent, the same thing is going to happen to you. you're going to meet the same fate. Look at Mark chapter 9, about verse 43. Let's see if these words motivate you right here. And I'm going to see if y'all remember something we looked at a long time ago about where the Lord would get this from. Mark 9 and 43. And you got to sit back and look at it, right? Because it says that Elohim so loved the world. He said, love edify or love instructs. So you know we're going to have to look at that, right? Paul said love instructs. If love instructs, that means what does love do? It shows you where to go, don't it? It's going to teach that I'm going to show you where to go. If I'm instructing you and teaching you on something, I mean I'm showing you the way to go about doing something. I'm showing you where to go. I'm showing you how to get there. 43rd verse of the 9th chapter of Mark. If thy hand offend thee, cut it off. It is better for thee to enter into life maimed than having two hands to go into hell, into the fire that shall never be quenched, where the worm die not, and the fire is not quenched. And if thy foot offend thee, cut it off. It is better for you to enter halt into life than having 2 feet to be cast into hell, into the fire that shall never be quenched, where the worm die not, and the fire is not quenched. And if thine eye offend thee, pluck it out. It is better for thee to enter into the kingdom of Elohim with 1 eye than to having 2 eyes, to be cast into the fire, where the worm die not, and the fire is not quenched. Do y'all remember what we Do y'all remember what we read where King Solomon told us something like this along these lines? He been told if your eye, your foot, and your hand offend thee, cut it off. What did King Solomon tell us along them lines that go right along with this? Yeah, y'all know. If you don't know, it's all right. Yeah. Look at us. Yeah. He told you if you were given the appetite, put a knife to your throat. And you know what this is a motivation of kill yourself. And not kill yourself in a literal form, but like what Peter wrote unto us in his epistle letter, that let us have the mind that Mashiach had, that as he suffered in the flesh, let us suffer in the flesh, because he that suffered in the flesh ceased from sin. And you know that they took nails in there and pierced him. You know what I'm talking about? He didn't literally cut his throat, but he wasn't given the appetite. He was given to take on the sins of all mankind. But he said, Lord, edify. Come over here to Isaiah 48. We'll come back to Ecclesiastes 12. Just bear with me. It's a lot of things going through my mind at one time. And y'all willing, we'll get to touch every single solitary bit of it. It's about 9:45. We about 27 minutes in. We'll see what's going on. Isaiah 48 and verse 16. Matter of fact, make it 15. I want you to hear what this man say now. Because this is going back to something that we looked at not too long ago. You know what I'm saying? When he talking about listen on Jacob and Yasser I'm my call, I'm the first, I'm also the last, and things of that nature, and how he says his right hand laid the foundations of the earth and spanned the Shamahim, and I called unto them and they stand up together. And all that right there. Y'all remember when we looked at all that? I want you to read verse 14. Y'all remember when we looked at all that right there? Well, let's look at verse 14 of the 48th chapter of this book. It says, all ye assemble yourselves and hear, which among them have declared these things. Yahuwah have loved him. He will do his pleasure on Babylon, and his arm shall be on the Chaldeans. Well, he just told the people to gather themselves together and hear, right? Hold what you got. Swing to Acts chapter 2. We are still holding Ecclesiastes chapter 12, 1 Corinthians chapter 7, 1 Corinthians chapter 8, and Nehemiah 13th chapter. Look, if you don't calm it down, your behind is going to be 4 shades darker. Because I ain't got no problem stopping doing what I'm doing to whoop your behind. Acts chapter 2, verse 14. It says, but Peter standing up with the 11 lifted up his voice and said unto them, you men of Yahuwah, and all ye that dwell at Jerusalem, be this known unto you, and hearken to my words. For these are not drunken as ye suppose, seeing as it but the 3rd hour of the day. Didn't he just tell these people to assemble themselves together and hear who have declared these things? Well, let's turn around and look at the things that Peter begins to declare. about he that spanned the Shamahim and laid the foundation of the earth, which we already looked at. Who spanned the Shamahim and laid the foundation of the earth? Okay. Verse 17, verse 16, pardon me, but this is that which was spoken by the prophet Joel. And it shall come to pass in the last days, saith Elohim, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams, and on my servants and on my handmaids will I pour out in those days of my spirit, and they shall prophesy, and I will show wonders in the Shamahim above, and signs in the earth beneath, and blood and vapor, and blood and fire and vapor of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood, before that great and notable day of the Lord comes. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of Yahuwah shall be saved. Now he just quoted book, right? He just quoted the second chapter of Joel, if you don't know. He's telling them that on this very day what they experiencing, they see a book being fulfilled. And this man said in Isaiah 48, come unto me who have declared these things. Hear and listen. Go ahead. Go to bed. Get in the bed, listen. Go get in the bed. You ain't got no backbone, so you spare. You stay where you at, listen. Leah, you stay where you at.
Leah, get over here.
Leah, get back over here. You ain't got no backbone. You don't have your backbone. You don't have your bed attire ready. Look at verse 24. Now you know he's sitting there going to tell him that the same Yahushua of Nazareth who wrote these miracles, you killed him. And it said it was at the foreknowledge of the Most High that you did these things. And let's see if he declared these things. Because if he declared them, that means he's got to tell you what's written in this book. Whom Elohim had raised up, having loosed the pains of death, because it was not possible that he should be holding of it. For David speak concerning him, I foresaw the Lord always before my face. He is on my right hand, that I should not be moved. Therefore did my heart rejoice, and my tongue was glad. Moreover, also my flesh shall rest in hope, because I will not leave my soul in hell, neither will I suffer thy Kodesh one to see corruption. Thou hast made me to know the ways of life. Thou shalt make me full of joy with thy countenance. Men and brethren, let me freely speak unto you of the patriarch David, that he is both dead and buried, and his sepulchre is with us unto this day. Therefore, being a prophet, and knowing that Elohim had sworn with an oath to him, that of the fruit of his loins, according to the flesh, he would raise up a Mashiach to sit on his throne. He, seeing this before, spake of the resurrection of a Mashiach, that his soul was not left in hell, neither his flesh did see corruption. This Yahusha have Elohim raised up, whereof we are all witnesses. Therefore, being at the right hand of Elohim, exalted, and receiving of the Father the promise of the Ruach HaKodesh, he has shed forth this, which you now see and hear. For David is not ascended into the Shamahim, but he himself saith, Yahuwah say unto my Lord, sit thou on my right hand, until I make thy foes thy footstool. Therefore let all the house of Yahshua know assuredly that Elohim hath made that same Yahushua whom you are crucified, both Lord and the Mashiach. Now when they heard this, they were pricked in their heart, and said unto Peter and to the rest of the apostles, men and brethren, what shall we do? So what does it sound like what happened when they heard Peter's words? They were motivated. They were motivated. When they heard those words, they were motivated to say, what should we? Don't y'all realize if there was somebody came and they told you about something, and they really hit you, and they motivated you to do it, ain't that the next thing? Well, what should I do? If somebody came to you with a business proposition, they were talking to you about it, and you were motivated to do it, ain't that the first thing come out your mouth? Well, what I need to do? Don't you realize that he declared this? He said, declare these things. Come back to Isaiah 48. Peter sat there and did it. He sat there, and all the people assembled themselves, and they heard, and they say, which among them have declared these things? Yahuwah had loved him, he will do his pleasure. All about. Don't you sit back and realize you see that the Father loved the Son, and he was telling them that? Don't you realize when we look at open rebuke is better than secret love, that the edifying and the instruction from the correction that the Father put on the Son is because he loved it, and that same thing that get put on us when the Mashiach said in Revelation 3:19, as many as I love I chasten and rebuke, so that you can be brought into the way of righteousness. to be motivated. That's what you sit back and look at it. Chastisement in them books is to motivate you to do right. You know what I'm saying? That's really the purpose of a whooping. You know what I'm talking about? He says, spare the rod, spoil the child. He said, if you beat him with the rod, you'll spare his soul from the grave. You know what I'm saying? I'm chastising you because I'm trying to teach you this is not what you should do. And I'm doing this because I love you. Because love instructs. So you actually have a love for it. See, like Paul, in the Epistle of Hebrews, go to Hebrews chapter 6. Stop, Leah. It ain't funny, listen. They just go hard all day, don't it? Just like that, don't it? 6 and 10, 6 and 9, or 6 and 10 actually. Listen what he said. He said, for out of him is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love, and which you have showed towards his name, and that you have ministered to the Kodesh ones, and do minister. He said that the Messiah is not unrighteous to forget the work and the labor of love. Well, we know from John chapter 13 about verse 1, it said that he should love those of his that were in the world, and he loved them unto the end. Did the Father forget the work which he did? He said, I got to do a work. He said, the night comes when no man can work. What did all did Elijah got to do? He told you in Matthew chapter 20, I didn't come to be ministered unto, I came unto minister. He came to minister to the set apart seed. This is what he came to do. Hold what you got. Look at Luke chapter 1, verse 6 and 7. He came to minister to the set apart seed. He did it because he loved them. He came to instruct you in the way you ought to go because he loved them. That's why he sat back and talked. That's why we turn around and we look at Solomon messing with the strange women. It's hard getting turned away. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with these false gods. And I promise you, y'all will. Gonna tie it back in with this whole ass stuff while I was mentioning that Shriner stuff. Because I was mentioning the Shriners to get to the what I was telling you about, which was the Moors. That's why I mentioned the Shriners, because the Moors feel like the Shriners took what was ours, that they took what was ours, when it ain't none of ours. Because Islam ain't nothing but a Catholic church construct. It ain't nothing but Babylonian pagan sun worship. Allah ain't nothing but a pagan moon goddess. You know what I'm saying? After the Sabbath, folks, you do your research and type in the daughters of Allah. You go look in the Islamic history and see they had a different God every day of the week. 360. I've taught the real live Arabs. And they've acknowledged this. You know what I'm saying? Arabs don't even acknowledge black people over here as being Muslims. They consider you to be counterfeit. Most black people that say that Moor stuff and in that Islam stuff, they don't even acknowledge that's real Islam. Nation of Islam, you know what I'm saying? 5%ers, man, them old rag heads over there, they don't even acknowledge you as being real Muslim. That stuff counterfeit. And truth be told, all that stuff, Moor side temple, Nation of Islam, Nation of God of the earth, aka the 5%ers, all of us basically. Because the Shriners rulers in the Masons. What is it? Luke chapter 1, verse 67. And his father Zacharias was filled with the Ruach HaKodesh and prophesied, saying, Blessed be Yahuwah Elohim of Yasharai, for he hath visited and redeemed his people, and hath raised us up a horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David, as he spoke by the mouth of his Kodesh prophets, which have been since the world began, that we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us, to perform the mercy promised to our fathers, and to remember his Kodesh covenant, the oath which he swore to our father Abraham, that he would grant unto us, that we being delivered out of the hand of our enemies, might serve him without fear, and Kodesh and righteousness before him all the days of our life. This is the purpose of the law that he had for us. Because remember, he told you to say, I love your fathers. Remember, Abraham is called a friend of the Most High. Ain't you supposed to love your friends? Don't you realize the book of Proverbs says a man who has friends must show himself friendly? Don't you realize if Abraham is his friend, don't you think he's going to show himself friendly to them? Don't you realize that he said if we do everything that he commanded us, we are his friends and not his servants? Don't you think he'll show himself friendly towards us? Oh, man. Oh, man, man, man. So that means he did all this here because he loved us. Not that we loved him, but that he loved us. Come over here to 1 John chapter 3, or chapter 4, actually. That's why he tells you, say, love, edify, love, instruct. Love is going to show you the way that you should go. 1 John 4 and about verse 14. But make it 15. Y'all all right? We got the 40 minutes. It's about 10 o'clock. Woo. It says, whosoever shall confess that Yahushua is the son of Elohim, Elohim dwell in him and he in Elohim. And we know, we have known and believed that the love that Elohim have to us, Elohim is love. When he say love edify, means love instructs in the way that you should go. Because the edify is to instruct. If we instruct, then that means I'm trying to show you where to go, how to go, and what to do. He said, he that dwell in love, dwell in Elohim, and Elohim in him. Herein is our love made perfect, that we may have boldness in the day of judgment, because as he is, so are we in this world. There is no fear in love. Perfect love casts out fear, because fear hath torment. He that fear is not made perfect in love. We love him because he first loved us. So you got to turn around and look at it. So if he first loved us, you got to sit back and look at the covenant he made with our father. First thing he did is he taught them how the way to go. He said, I know Abraham. I know him. That he will teach his household justice and judgment in the way of Yahuwah. Now where did Abraham get the way of Yahuwah from? You got to look at Genesis 17 and 1. He told him, I am El Shaddai, walk before me and be thou perfect. So that means I'm going to show you how to be perfect. I'm going to teach you how to get there because I love you. Then you turn around and you look at the love he had in our forefathers. He said, man, I do this because of the love that I have for you. He said, I have loved you, but you have not known me. You have not known me. I loved you, but you have not known me. That means he loved you enough to teach you the way that you ought to go. He loved you enough to chastise you in the way that you ought to go, to get you back into it, but yet you wouldn't do it. So then he had to send his son. He said, I so love the world. And y'all know who the world is, don't you? Know, that's another favorite Israelite saying, but they ain't lying when they say it, though. Well, I'll show you then. Come over here to Isaiah. And they're not wrong with that, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? It's just how they go about it. When they go about it and they say it, they try to exclude other people. You know what I'm saying? But they're not wrong with that at the same time. We have to show you how they're not wrong with that. Come over to 2 Kings 17 further. We're going to a lot of places in it. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? We got 1 Corinthians 7 and 8 on that, right? Nehemiah 13 on that, right? Isaiah 48 too, right? I ain't missing nothing, dude. Or the Ecclesiastes chapter 12. Thank the Lord. Look at 2 Kings chapter 17. Let me make sure that's what I want. I think it's probably about verse 20. Then nothing. I'm a then you. A boot right in your behind. Then that. Leah. 17 and about 18 is what I desire. Make it about 16. 14 even better. He said, notwithstanding they would not hear, but harden their necks like the necks of their fathers that did not believe in Yahuwah Elohim. We didn't look at that Wednesday. Because you got to understand something. What he's talking about is that he sung his prophets and they testify. Look at verse 13. This again is showing how the words of the wise are to motivate. The people were not motivated when they heard these words. He said, Yahuwah testified against Yahshua, against Yahuwah, by all the prophets and by all the seers, saying, turn ye from your evil ways, and keep my commandments and my statutes, according to the law which I commanded your fathers, and which I sent to you by my servants the prophets. Notwithstanding, they would not hear, but hardened their necks, like to the necks of their fathers that did not believe in you who were their Elohim. So when it comes down to it, when the words of the wise come to motivate you, and you don't move, it's because you actually did not believe them. See, a lot of y'all don't actually believe that somebody actually loved you. A lot of y'all don't actually believe that the Most High actually loved you when he said he first loved us, and the fact that he laid his life down for us. Him laying his life down for you was to instruct you in the way that you ought to go. Everything he did, everything he said, everything he taught, down to him on that tree dying, was to show you the way you ought to go. You know what I'm saying? All that was to show you, because why? Because he loved you. He loved you. He said, greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay his life down for his friends. We dealt with this in the past. A man who has friends got to do what? Show himself friendly. And there's a friend that's still closer than a brother. And we know Amashiach said, you are not my servants, you'll be my friends. And you'll be one with me. And I'll dwell in you and you'll dwell in me. Don't that still closer than a brother? You actually enemy, he and you. Because he loved you. He said, if you love me, keep my commandments. If you keep his commandments, that means he loves you enough to instruct you the way that you ought to go, and you would love him back by doing what he told you to do. Knowing that there's a gain and a benefit and a reward for what you're doing. We already know this here. Your work is not vain in the Lord. See, a lot of times, man, y'all start going through stuff and dealing with stuff, and stuff don't go your way, and you feel like, what's the point? I know some of y'all have been at points, you might not be there right now. Some of y'all might be there right now. Well, you felt like, man, I might as well quit. Everybody has been at a point where they thought they might as well quit at some point, and if you say you haven't, you lying. Because that flesh will go to kick it in and be like, man, I don't even know if it's worth it, man. I might as well just go ahead and fold up my tent. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what the flesh do, because the flesh is contrary to the spirit. It causes you to do the things that you ought not. Just because the flesh build up and say you might as well quit, don't mean you got to listen to it. That's what the flesh do. That's why Paul said, in my flesh dwell no good thing. Ain't nothing good in it. The flesh contrary to God. The point is, when you allow it to rule you. Will it dictate the way you go? Let's continue. And they rejected his statutes and his covenant that he made with their fathers, and his testimonies which he testified against them, and they followed vanity, and became vain, and went after the heathen that were round about them, concerning whom Yahuwah had charged, but they should not do like them. You see how we turn around and bring a full circle now? When it comes to that right there, what you think we doing right now? We have already been charged and given a responsibility that we should not be like them. Going back to what we just read in 1 John chapter 4, that we are as he is in this present world. You know what I'm talking about? Because this man was around these same heathens, around the same Romans, around the same Samaritans, and he did not do as they did. See, Yahushua was motivated by the words of the wise too, because obviously his father is wisdom. This guy that has the wisdom, he the one gave him the word. He was motivated to do what he had to do because of the reward that he was going to receive. He came around and came with his word. He told his disciples what? Any man that forsake everything that he had in the regeneration, he'll get 100-fold. They said, what will we get? And he's giving me these words to motivate them to do this in order to get what they're going to receive. See, but you know what y'all probably did? When you can't see what you're going to receive, that's why you don't want to get. That's the same thing I was telling y'all about starting if you got a mind to say, I want to run my own business. Because when you sit back and look at it, the Lord was in the business of saving souls. So preaching the word and saving souls, that was his business. Now, at the end of the day, he knows what the Father telling him is going to happen to him. Son, you're going to go through this, and you're going to die, and you're going to resurrect from the dead, and you got to do this, and you got to do that, and when you do this, I'm going to give you this, that, and the other. Now, when you begin to put forth the labor to do that work, to get that, you know what I'm saying? You don't actually see the payoff. And sometimes when you're doing that labor, you wonder, will I ever see the payoff? You know what I'm saying? Because to get that success, what you got to do, it's going to be some long nights. You know what I'm talking about? It's going to be some sacrifices made. It's going to be some setbacks. It's going to be all this stuff don't nobody see. You know what I'm saying? All they're going to see is the success that you got, but they're not going to see all the suffering that you had to go through to get to that point. You know what I'm saying? See, all really people like to talk about with the Lord is the success. He rose from the dead for us, but they don't want to look at all the suffering he went through to get to that point. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to look at the fact that the people disrespected this man. They called him a liar. They tried to kill him because they said he was breaking the Sabbath for healing people. They wanted to kill him because he told people your faith has made you whole. They wanted to kill him because he said your sins have been forgiven. They wanted to kill him because he opened the eyes of a blind man. They wanted to kill him because he said, I and my Father are one. They took up stones to stone him. They wanted to kill him because he said, before Abraham was, I am. They wanted to kill him because nobody has ever spoke with this power and authority, and yet they do nothing to him. These people try to entangle him in his talk. You know what I'm talking about? All this type of stuff. They don't really like to talk about all the ridicule. I'm not talking about the stuff that happened when they got him, it was time for him to die. You know what I'm talking about? Who is this? Ain't that Joseph's son? Ain't that Mary's son? We know this nigga. Who does this nigga think he is? Coming around here doing all these great works with all this great wisdom. Who does he think he is? You know what I'm saying? That's a whole bunch of work. Then you sit back and look at it. What usually happens when you go to do stuff on your own? Your friends leave you alone. What happened to him? His friends departed from him and forsook him. You know what I'm saying? We got here to do this work so we can get this money. Now you don't want to. I don't know about that, man. I ain't trying to do all that right there. You know what I'm saying? All the time. See, we look at this stuff as antidotes. Well, at least we should. You know what I'm saying? But most people look at this stuff as antidotes, and they don't realize in order for his business to be accomplished, to get the success, to be able to do it, I got to take on all this stuff. I got to be disciplined because I can't sin. Because if I sin, the business is over. You know what I'm saying? If I sin, my business is done. So I got to be disciplined. Then I got to make a sacrifice. So I'm giving up my place in the Shamahim and everything I had to come down here as a man and be disrespected and killed. You know what I'm talking about? I got some long nights because I'm always preaching. I'm always on the road. I'm always on foot, going from spot to spot, dropping this word. So I got some short days. I got some short nights, some long days. You know what I'm saying? I'm always hustling. You know what I'm saying? Nobody talk about that. Nobody like to talk about the fact this man was walking around preaching on a regular and consistent basis for 3+ years. You know what I'm saying? All the time. He had to tell other people, he said, man, there's other places I got to go to preach. He had to tell the people this twice in Matthew chapter 7 and John chapter 4. There's other places I got to go to preach the word, and I can't just stay here. Because I'm hustling right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to win people here, trying to win people there, trying to win people. Don't you realize when he picked these people up and made them disciples for all intents and purposes to put it in terms that you know that these men were franchisees? You know what I'm saying? When you look at KFC, if you go get a KFC franchise, for instance, it's not your name don't go on the restaurant. The KFC banner is on that. And guess what KFC do? Give you all the support that you need to run it under this KFC banner. You know what I'm talking about? You get the reward, the benefit of it, but you get to use the KFC name. You don't need to start your own chicken restaurant. I'm going to go buy the KFC name. Well, then you turn around and you look at you preaching. He said he that seek his own, who speak of his own, seek his own glory. But he that seek of him that sent him, the same with you, there's no unrighteousness in it. So now you come in the name of Hamashiach. So this the business you run the business, but it's really not yours because you come in somebody else's name. And the person who's sending you to do this business is giving you all the tools you need to run it. Because he said, I will always be with you and bring to remembrance everything that I said to you. So every tool and everything and every asset you need to do this, I'm going to give it to you. See, this going back to which we haven't got to it yet. Y'all will, I'll be able to get to it in greater detail. This going back to why I was telling y'all that Yahushua is the greatest businessman to ever live. You know what I'm saying? Chief Executive Officer, Chief Operating Officer, Chief Financial Officer, President, all of that. And guess what the disciples is? The board of directors. You know what I'm saying? They work there. Straight up and down, you sit back and look at that. He's the chief executive officer. I'm giving all the orders on what's got to be done. I'm the chief operating officer. That means I'm giving you the information how to operate the business. Because that's what the COO's job is. To operate the business. You know what I'm saying? The executive makes the final calls and decisions. And the financial officer is over the money. Well, for all intents and purposes, the riches and the money for us is the Ruach HaKodesh. That's the payoff. That's the riches of the Most High. That's the riches of the Shamayim. This man is over that. When you sought out to become a preacher of the word, if you are serving of Yahuwah, then what you end up doing, I'm coming in the name of Yahuwah. I'll work for him. You know what I'm saying? Y'all understand what I'm saying, too? I don't think they understand. You understand what I'm saying? I ain't saying that. I guess they don't understand. Let's keep on going, though. We spend too much time on it. Ain't nobody saying that. I guess nobody don't get it. Nobody don't want to say that. I guess we just use all that time for nothing. Not for nothing. But Mama said it wasn't for nothing. But you see the key thing he told them? He said don't do like that. You know what I'm saying? When we turn around, what did we do? We took their Jesus, we took their Allah, we took their Buddha, we took their Krishna. You know what I'm talking about? We took all that stuff. They like boys, now we like boys. They like to get high, now we want to get high. They like to wear little pants, now we want to wear little pants. You know what I'm talking about? And you know what ends up happening? You envy your oppressor, you choose his ways when he told you, do not be like him. This is what's coming in what I was telling y'all before we start. This is where your self-respect ends up dissipating at. You understand what I'm telling you? This is where your self-respect ends up dissipating at. Because when you begin to assimilate and become like another people, you lose your self-respect and self-value because you're setting your respect and value according to the people who you are assimilated and are emulated. She peed on herself. It's the same way. I give an example on the women perspective with the weed. Matter of fact, I won't even use the weed. I use the thing I looked at today when they were talking about why does Maria Sharapova make $26 million in endorsements and Serena Williams only makes $13 million, and Serena Williams crushes Maria Sharapova every time they step on the court. That Serena Williams is easily the most dominant female athlete of this time and in tennis at this present time. There is no one even close to her. And the white dude, the black lady on ESPN, the white lady just went ahead and said, well, first off, she's a female athlete. She said, secondly, she's a black female athlete. Thirdly, she's a black female athlete that looked like an athlete. She's kept it 100. The white dude, I'm not saying, but it's possible because of standards of beauty. This is going to be real with it because she's black. Because if she was white, her face would be everywhere. See, some of y'all are too young to know who Steffi Graf is. Some of y'all are too young to know who Chris Everett is. Some of y'all are too young to know who Martina Navratilova is. But they were the greatest tennis players of their time. I don't think I recall seeing Chris Everett playing in her prime, but I did see Steffi Graf and Martina Navratilova playing their prime. And they were mean, and Serena better than both of them, easily, hands down, would crash them. And I ain't just saying that because she's black. I mean, she's that much better than them. But it's the key thing that, like I said, in order for her to get in the door, you know what she got to do? Put that weave in your head and dress this particular way. I remember down here, they told Fred Taylor, you're not going to be able to get as much endorsement money unless you take them goals out your mouth. Now, I'm not endorsing that you go get goals in your mouth. But the point of my statement is this. They telling you can't make money or do certain things unless you become like them. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Y'all hear me? You know what I'm saying? Well, the Most High already told us, don't be like them. And I ain't talking about just Caucasians. It doesn't matter if it's Arabs. It doesn't matter if it's Africans. It doesn't matter if it's Asians. It don't matter if it's another black person. Because if a black person is living contrary to the word Jeremiah already told you. He said, Edom and Ammon and Moab are uncircumcised in the flesh, but Yasharal is uncircumcised in the heart. So if your own people are uncircumcised in the heart, you ain't got no business emulating them and being like them. He told you not to do it. Because their hearts is not real. This is why I was telling you, like I was telling the brother, his name is Brian, that Pastor had me talk to last night. This is why they don't want you to know who you are. And you know, that's why they don't want you to know what your name were. That's why they don't want you to know what language you spoke. That's why they don't want you to know the name of your God. That's why it's so easy for our people to run around here and say the white man wrote the Bible, or the white man did this, or the white man did that. We give these people entirely too much credit. The whole thing that it came down to is we done came to emulate them. And then we want to be like them. You can't have self-value and self-respect when you're trying to be something that you're not. Even when it comes down to not emulating people at home, some of y'all the main reason why you ain't got the way you want to be at in the Word because you're trying to be something that you're not. And I ain't talking about as forth as living the Word. What's hindering you from being made perfect in the Word is you still trying to be something that you're not. That's the same way I tell y'all, man, you can't go to try to marry somebody and be with somebody to get them to be how you want them to be. You know what I'm saying? Because I told y'all before, your character, you can change your character. You know what I'm saying? Your character is the things that you do and how you operate, the standard that you keep. You know what I'm saying? But you can't change your personality, though. Your personality is who you are. It's one of the examples they always talk about is with Jay Cutler, the quarterback for the Bears. He needs to be more of a leader. He needs to do this. He needs to do that. And they fail to realize that's not in his personality. He'll never do it. You know what I'm saying? The way that you want him to think, that you want him to lead, and the way that you want him to be, he will never be that because that is not in him. That's just not who he is. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all try to be something that's just not who you are. You know what I'm saying? If that's not who you are, then don't try to be that. Focus on who you are and be the best person that you are as you are. You can accentuate your character. You can enhance your character. You know what I'm talking about? But who you are fundamentally as an individual, your personality traits, man, you can't try to be nobody else. You can only be you. That's one thing I learned early in life, man. I can't never be who you want me to be. I can only be me. And if who I am ain't good enough for you, fuck you. I don't need you. Because I'm not going to try to be somebody to please somebody. And I wouldn't try to be with somebody or get somebody to be who I want them to be when they've already shown me who they are. Who they are is who they are. Like when we were growing up our friends, but once you show who I love you, hey man, I love you, it's too late. Now I know who you are. I love you. You can't come to somebody and be like, I want you to be like this. I want you to be like that. If they been like that 6, 7, 10, 12, 13, 14 years, nigga, that's not going to change. You know what I'm saying? That's not going to change. T be like, man, you be so loud. T, I've been like this for a long time. It's not going to change. You know what I'm saying? Every now and then, I might talk low where you can't hear me, but I've been like that my whole life. That's not going to change. You know what I'm saying? There's no like nothing I can do about that. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? You know, I can joke around and play, and y'all know that there, but I'm pretty much dead serious all the time. If you know me well enough, you know when I'm serious and when I'm playing. If you don't, that means you don't know me well enough. You know what I'm saying? That means you ain't paying attention. But pretty much, I'm serious all the time. Like, I could be saying something. Like, a lot of times y'all be laughing because I be saying something. I be dead serious, and y'all be dying laughing because y'all know I'm dead serious. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I ain't even trying to be funny. But you know I'm serious, though. But that's just who I am. And I always been like that. Like, the word didn't get me like that. I always was like that. I've been like that since I can remember about maybe 9, 10 years old. Always been like that. You know, you are who you are. You got to focus on who you are, and then you can be able to do that. But when you try to be like other people and emulate other people, then you lose yourself. And when you lose yourself, your self-respect goes out the window, and your self-worth and your value go out the window because you are comparing yourself against other people. You know what I'm saying? The only person you need to be comparing yourself against is the Lord and anybody who walks as the Lord. You know what I'm saying? That's who you should be comparing yourself against. If they follow the Lord, I want to be like him because he followed the Lord. Because if I want to be like him, that means I want to be like the Lord because that's who he followed. You know what I'm saying? That's what Paul said, follow me as I follow Mashiach. He wasn't telling you to follow him because follow him. He said follow me because I follow the Lord. You follow me, you follow the Lord. Don't keep push it one more time. Put it back where you got it from. Verse 16. And they left all the commandments of Yehuda Elohim and made them molten images, even 2 calves, and made a grove, and worshipped all the hosts of Shamayim and served Baal. And they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire and used divination and enchantment and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of Yahuwah to provoke him to anger. You know how he caused our sons and daughters to pass through that fire? Go ahead and give them a boy, offering them up to Baal. You know what I'm talking about? Old fertility God. Every time I say, I'm going to offer a baby up to him. I'm going to give him a boy, I'm going to offer a baby to him. You know what I'm saying? That's to keep our population down. That's why it's so rigorous. You don't find abortion clinics in white neighborhoods like you find them in ours. You know what I'm talking about? It's real easy for you to, if you black, to get you to a Planned Parenthood. And you know, really clearly say the founder of Planned Parenthood was her idol. She looked up to her, and she said, I forget her name. Her name escapes me at this time. The white woman who started Planned Parenthood. If any of y'all remember, you could gladly say it. Her name escapes me at this time. That one is Margaret Sanger. I appreciate you, Tony. Margaret, I heard it like that Margaret part came in, but I wasn't sure about that last name. We appreciate you, Tony. She said black people ought to be exterminated. They ain't even worth living for all intents and purposes. Her whole objective was to exterminate you. They call it eugenics. That's what I'm saying, telling you, population control is just code word for eugenics, and eugenics is code word for kill niggas. Because you're a threat to them. I know a lot of y'all probably sat back in your life and thought, how could we ever be a threat to white people? It's not that just you specifically, it's your God. You understand what I'm telling you? It's your God. When you begin to serve your God, you begin to show a difference between you and them. And then the last thing they want is like what we read Wednesday, where that Romans said they teaching things that are not lawful for us to keep, considering that we Romans. Considering that we Romans. Because the last thing they want is they people or any other group of people to latch on to what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? They don't want that to happen. They don't want that to happen. Let's go ahead and get the rolling again, though. Y'all all right? Y'all extra quiet. Y'all scaring me. And he says in verse 18, therefore Yahuwah was very angry with Yasharal and removed him out of his sight. There was none left but the tribe of Yahuwah only. And also Yahuwah kept not the commandments of Yahuwah, their Elohim, but walked in the statutes of Yasharal was their age. And Yahuwah rejected all the seed of Yasharal and afflicted them and delivered them into the hand of spoilers until he cast them out of his sight. So y'all know what that means, right? I'm not asking this for a rhetorical question. What did that mean if he cast out Yasharal from out of his sight? What does that mean? Huh? What does that mean? He put them out. Now I'm also going to show y'all a twofold thing here. It says they did evil in his sight. He was angry with him. He removed them out of his sight. And there was nobody left but Yahuwah. What you think that could mean? And then he said he delivered them into the hand of spoilers and afflicted them till he cast them out of his sight. What you think that could mean? Y'all don't know what that could mean? Let's look at Ecclesiastes chapter 7 real fast. Ecclesiastes chapter 7, about verse 25. Y'all sure y'all alright? Leave it alone, Lizzie. I guess they ain't alright. But y'all sleep? Y'all sliding on the phone? I done put you to sleep? Y'all alright? I got it, man. So I got to do something. Make sure y'all woke. Make sure y'all still alive. 7:25. Well, 25. Ecclesiastes 7:25. And I applied my heart to know and to search, to seek out wisdom and the reason of things, and to know the wickedness of folly, even of foolishness and madness. And I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is in snares and nets, and her hands as bands. Whoso please Elohim shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her. Behold, this have I found, saith the preacher, counting one by one to find out the account, which yet my soul seek, but I find not. One man among 1,000 have I found, but a woman among all those have I not found. Who is this one man among 1,000 that he has found? Who is he talking about? Who is the one man? Huh? you just sat back and see, he said he rejected the whole house of Yasharai. And only the tribe of Yehuda remained. We just already read in Luke chapter 1, he said he raised up a horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David. Stop, Leah.
Stop.
So come over here to Zechariah chapter 12. We still hold in 1 Corinthians chapter 7, 1 Corinthians chapter 8, Isaiah chapter 48, and Ecclesiastes chapter 12, and we still got to tie in this shrine of stuff, and y'all we will do that before we depart this evening, if he see fit to be so merciful to allow it to occur. I just forgot what I just told. Zechariah 12. Thank the Lord. Zechariah 12. Look at verse, about verse 5. And it says, and the governors of Yehuda shall say in their heart, the inhabitants of Jerusalem shall be my strength, and Yah of hosts, their Elohim. And in that day will I make the governors of Yehuda like a hearth of fire among the wood, and like a torch of fire in a sheaf. And they shall devour all the people round about on the right hand, on the left, and Jerusalem shall be inhabited again in her own place, even in Jerusalem. And Yehuda also shall save the tents of Yehuda first, that the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Yehuda. And in that day shall Yehuda defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David, and the house of David shall be as Elohim, and the angel of Yahuwah before them. What do you think this could mean? They going night night? Come over here, listen. What y'all think that could mean? First month. Night night. Okay, that was on. Next month. Night night. Yep. House over. What do y'all think this could mean? What do you think he said that day I would make the governors of Yehuda like a hearth of fire among the wood? And they'll devour all the people round about on the right hand and on the left. Then he shall save the tents of Judah first, so that the house of David and the glory of the house of David, that nobody magnifies themselves against Yehuda. And then he said, I will defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is weak shall be as David, and the house of David will be just like God, and a Malachim will be before him. What do you think this could mean? Think back to what we started with in 2 Kings 17. I rejected all the house of Yasharai. There was nobody left but Yehuda. But then Yehuda said against me too, so I turned my eye away from them. And then I delivered them into the hand of spoilers and afflicted them, because he said all the seed of our house of Yasharai. Notice he said seed singularly. All the seed of the house of Yasharai in the hands of spoilers, and they were afflicted. Then you come back around and we look at Solomon and said, I gave an account. I only found one. And then you come right back around here in Zechariah 12 and you see the house of Yasharai, just like you see in 2 Kings chapter 17, rejected. Only Yehuda remains. Only Yehuda remains. Well, let's go ahead and deal with it. Let's go ahead and deal with it. When you look at verse 6, because we already been talking about that, who's the governor of Yehuda? Let's look at Acts chapter 13 and let's see exactly. Now, how is this governor of Yehuda made like a hearth of fire? How is he like a hearth of fire among the wood, and like a torch of fire in the sheaf to devour all night? I don't even want Acts 13. Look at Matthew chapter 3. He says that this man is like a fire among the wood, like a torch of fire in a sheaf, and will devour all the people round about on the right hand and on the left. Yeah, we're gonna look at it right now. But this ain't talking about the spirit right here though. With the fire, what we talking about right here though. But that's where we're going. Matthew 3 and 11. That's where we're going. But not the spirit right here though. Go ahead. I hear somebody. But let's sit back and look at it. And I hear you. But let's sit back and look at it, right? Because I want you to focus on what he's talking about with this fire. He said he will be a fire among the wood, a torch of fire in the sheep, and devour all the people round about. So Jerusalem shall be inhabited again in our own place, even there. Listen what John finna say. I indeed baptize you with water unto repentance, but he that come after me is mightier than I, whose shoes I am not worthy to bear. He shall baptize you with the Ruach HaKodesh and with fire, whose fan is in his hand. He will thoroughly purge his floor and gather his wheat into the garner, but burn up the chaff with unquenchable fire. Now you turn around, you look at it, he said he will make the governors of Yehuda like that earth of fire among the wood, and a torch of fire in the sheep. See, come on back, we ended with this the other day. Look at 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and look what the man tells you. Look what Paul's going to tell you. Leah, you all right? I was crying like you finna die. 3 and 11. Now if any man shall build upon this foundation gold, silver, precious stone, wood, hay, stubble, every man's work shall be made manifest, for the day shall declare it, because it shall be revealed by fire, and the fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is. If any man's work abide which he hath built thereupon, he shall receive a reward. If any man's work shall be burnt, he shall suffer loss. But he himself shall be saved, yet so as by fire. Now coming back to Zechariah chapter 12. So you know the only person who got, as the governor of Yehuda, got the power to do that. Because we know that's a Mashiach. He the only one can pull that off. And he said he going to make this man as fire among the wood, as he just seen the Apostle Paul reference. He going to try your word. And he going to burn to the right hand or to the left, huh? The judgment. Judgment. Remember how we coming back like fire, right? Now we come back and we look at verse 7. Y'all should know what it say in Zechariah 12. He who saved the tents of Yehuda first, because he came unto his own and his own received him not. Of course he was saved in first. When we look at 2 Kings 17, we say he rejected the whole house of Yasharal and only Yehuda left and was remaining. Which goes back, and you know what, we back and see what he rejected the whole house of Yasharal and only Yehuda remained. Hold what you got. Come over here to 1 Chronicles chapter 5. It's a similitude of it. It's showing you where Yehuda prevailed, Yehuda remained, but Yasharal was rejected. 1 Chronicles 5 and 1. Is everybody alright? I know your mind wonder, y'all wonder what I'm trying to get to, and y'all like, look at this crazy nigga talk about this evening. He said, now the sons of Reuben, the firstborn of Yasharal, for he was the firstborn, before as much as he defiled his father's bed, his birthright was given unto the sons of Yosef, the son of Yasharal. And the genealogy is not to be reckoned after the birthright. For Yehuda prevailed above his brethren, and of him came the chief ruler, but the birthright was Yosef. And you know what another name for Yasharal was? You know what I'm saying? Not just with that one there, but Ephraim, wasn't it? And you know who Ephraim came from?
Lizzie.
From Joseph. So don't you see another situation where the seed of Yasharal was rejected and only Yehuda remained because they prevailed? And you turn around and see in Zechariah 12, I got to say the tents of Judah first. So that means I got to save my son first because he's the chief ruler. Come on back. Zechariah 12. Y'all follow me so far? I ain't lost nobody, did I? So what you think this means when he said the glory of the house of David don't magnify themselves against Yehuda? I got to say them first. Then he said that, you know, somebody who's feeble, that means they're weak. He said they'll be as David. And the house of David would be as God. What you think this could mean? You know, David was a pretty strong and resilient dude, now wasn't he? How is the house of David going to be as God? How is that possible? Was somebody baking cookies? How is the house of David going to be as God? Come on, Jim. How is the house of David going to be as God? Why do you have to say Judah first that the glory of the house of David and the glory of the happiness of Jerusalem don't magnify themselves against Judah? But we also dealing with something else. Before I get to that, Isaiah 45 and 17. And after Isaiah 45 and 17, John chapter 11 and verse 50. Because like I told you, remember it said, Elohim so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son. You got to sit back and you got to look at it. When we turn around and we were in Egypt, we were the world to Yahuwah at that time. When he gave that firstborn lamb and had us to sacrifice it, who was that? He loved us enough to kill all them people to bring us out. That wasn't for nobody else but Yasharal and that mixed multitude who was with us. When he said, I love your fathers, Abraham or Abram, Yitzhak and Yaakov, he didn't say that. That means I love y'all. I made a covenant with y'all. I married y'all. Y'all were the apple of my eye. We know Paul said according to the flesh, he said, we'll read it in the same. Isaiah 45, verse 17. It said, but Yasharal shall be saved in Yahuwah with an everlasting salvation. You shall not be ashamed or confounded, world without end. We didn't know this before, because we know this a Mashiach, but then he said we'll be saved will be a world without an end. That's what he's going around telling you now. The first shall be last and the last shall be first. You started out moving and you're going to end that way. That's not going to stop. This is the whole key thing. Hold what you got. Come on back to Exodus. I know I said I was going to say it. Y'all, the thing of eugenics, it ain't new. Them coming out with population, we good in that part. The thing with population control, this stuff ain't new. Them people trying to kill this stuff ain't new. Verse 7 of Exodus, the first chapter. This stuff ain't new. These people been doing this stuff. They say the children of Yasharal were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceeding mighty, and the land was filled with it. That's why Marvin sang it. That's why all of them came about. They said, too many of you niggas, these niggas like to have sex and they be reproducing. Because you got to know the promise which your father and the Shamahim made with you. He said you would be as the sand of the sea which no man can number. That means if you the sand of the sea which no man can number, what you think that means? That means y'all going to make some babies. Don't you realize how much reproducing the people got to make that there's so many of y'all we can't even count you? That's why David got in trouble when he went to count the people, because he supposed to already knew the law when he told Abraham back in the 15th chapter, I'll make your children as the sand of the sea. Ain't no need for you to try to count. It's going to be impossible. He said, and now there arose up a new king over Mizraim, which knew not yourself. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Yasharal are more mighty than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply and it come to pass that when there fall out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. Therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, and Pithom and Ramses. Verse 15. Now read all that. And the king of Mizraim spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of one was Shipporah, and the name of the other Puah. And he said, when you do the orders of the midwife to the Hebrew women, and you see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then you shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, then she shall live. So they were already coming up with population control way back in Egypt. Why you sit back and you turn around and you think you see it now? You think it's going to stop? No, you didn't think it was going to stop, did it? Now, how do you think these people magnified themselves against Yahuwah? Well, let's turn around and look at how they magnified themselves against Yahuwah in Matthew chapter 27. I'll get to Romans chapter 9 in a minute. Still got 1 Corinthians 7 and 8 on deck. Nehemiah 13 on deck. Ecclesiastes 12 on deck. Isaiah chapter 48 on deck. And all this stuff we're working in, because we still talking about how love instruct. We also looking at how knowledge puff up. We've already kind of touched on that and seen that. That's why I be telling y'all, man, just because we get an opportunity to see the Lord and the Word and you get to learn stuff, don't let that knowledge in you make you think you better than somebody as far as how you act and carry yourself. You know what I'm saying? We know if you are a servant of Yahuwah, he said you will be above all nations upon the earth. That's Yahudim first and also to the heathen. No different. You're going to be better than whoever you around. but you still supposed to be a humble person. You know what I'm saying? See, some of y'all get that knowledge of that there and they get that arrogance and you carry yourself like that. That's why we looked at it in weeks past. Don't use your liberty as a cloak of maliciousness, because that's what that arrogance come in. You feel like you can do, I'm an Israelite. You ain't nothing but a Gentile anyway. Or you ain't nothing but a sinner or this, that. You sinning in because you got pride in your oil. That's not of God. He's going to be puffing you up for you to take a fall. Some of y'all have already took falls because you done got puffed up with your arrogance. You know what I'm saying? He had to humble you back on down. Because you didn't see the Lord carrying himself in that fashion, did you? You know, I'm the son of the Most High. I'm better than every last one of y'all, and I know it. And I know it. See, that's the true hallmark of confidence right there. I can know I'm better than you. I ain't got to tell you that, though. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got to walk around like that. I know I am. Therefore, I'm so confident in that I don't have to exude that. I can still carry myself in a humble manner and show that same manner of love unto you, that hopefully you might want to come and get down with what I'm doing too. You know what I'm saying? People don't like arrogant people. People like confident people. You know what I'm saying? But nobody likes an arrogant person. We're going to use the white boy term for it. Most arrogant people are a douchebag. And nobody likes a douchebag. Or we can use the other white boy term. They call him a tool. Anyway, it's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody ever called y'all no tool or no douchebag. Any of y'all ever thought y'all were arrogant in your lifetime? You know what I'm saying? I'm glad I didn't get too much money. I ain't a nasty nigga, but I would have had some arrogance in me though. Just cause it might be because I'm from Duval County, you know, we a little spoiled, you know, we get slick out the mouth real fast. You know what I'm talking about? Tell you something real fly, real spoiled, real fast, and walk off. You know what I'm talking about? Shit, we were broke, we weren't even rich when we were doing it. You know what I'm saying? So imagine if we got rich. Sitting on a couple M's. Oh, man. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't that you trying to look down on somebody. I just know I'm doing my thing. I want you to know it. It's the same way with a woman who, see, you got some women who think they pretty, and then you got some women who know they pretty. You know what I'm saying? They know they're pretty. Like they don't need nobody to tell them that. They already know that. And they carry themselves a lot different than the average woman do. And you know what? Most people don't like a woman like that. You know what I'm saying? I done met some women who knew they were pretty. Their attitudes were horrible. And nobody really cared for them. Most men made it their business to try to get that woman and try to defile her in ways that no one could imagine so they could talk about it to other people as a means to embarrass her. And I know women who knew they were pretty, but they didn't carry themselves that way. But they knew it though. You know what I'm saying? They knew it. They didn't need validation from somebody else to tell them that they were. You got some women that convince themselves they pretty. Like, you nice looking woman, but you ain't that pretty. Not like you carrying yourself. You know what I'm saying? I done met a lot of women like, you pretty now, but you ain't that pretty. You ain't that pretty now. Bring it down a notch, buddy. Bring it down a notch. You know what I'm saying? It's alright though. Y'all alright? Come on back to Michael chapter 12. I'm for real though. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The men, I know that some of you women probably looking crazy. The men know what I'm talking about. Like this here boy, women walk around here like, you know, shorty alright now, but you ain't that fine now. You got some women like this here, she got a little bit of booty, she thinks she got something going on. You ain't that fine, you ain't that pretty now. You ain't that good looking at that type of attitude you carrying now. You bring it down a notch. So when you look at them talking about magnifying themselves against Yahuwah, come on down here and look at Matthew 27. And I know I got John 11:50 on day. I'm finna get ready to wrap him up, tie it all together, call it a night. It's 10:45. I ain't even realize it was 10:40. It looked over 10:15. Matthew 27, well 26, well 27 is cool. We just looked at it the other day. Look how they magnify themselves. Because you know, magnifying yourself means you're making yourself better than them. You know what I'm saying? 27, 30, and 40. It says, in saying, thou destroy the temple and build it in 3 days, save thyself if thou be the Son of the Most High. Come down from the cross. Likewise also the chief priests mocking him with the scribes and the elders said, he saved others himself he cannot save. If he be the king of Yasharal, let him come down from the tree and we will believe him. He trusted in Elohim, let him deliver him now, if he will have him, for he said, I am the son of Elohim. But do you think that they magnify themselves against him? Y'all think they're doing that? Is that Kingston? 1 Corinthians 15. Before we look at John chapter 11. 15 and 19. So if he got to save the tents of Yehuda first, this is what he had to do. Because you got to remember, Yehuda means the praise of Yahuwah. We know the Son is the praise of the Most High. Let's look at 19 verse of the 1 Corinthians 15. If in this life only we have hope in the Mashiach, we are all men most miserable. But now is the Mashiach risen from the dead and become the first fruits of them that slept. For since by man came death, by man came also the resurrection of the dead. For as in Adam all died, even so in the Mashiach shall all be made alive. So you see, he saved the tents of Judah first, that they could no longer magnify themselves against him, right? And don't you also realize that now, because when he was feeble, he made him as David? Because then remember, he was exceedingly sorrowful even unto death. He was in a weak state. And what did he come to do? He sent a mighty king to strengthen him. Remember when David was weak and Jonathan came and did what? Strengthened him. And then he ended up making the house of David his God. And you know Yahusha come from what? The house of David, right? Romans 1:1. He come from the house of David. So when he come from the house of David, then guess what happened with the Mashiach? Going right back to what we were talking about Wednesday night. He is God. How is the house of David like God? That's what the niggas run around. See, the tribe of Judah, the blacks in America, they're going to be coming. No, you ain't coming through like God, buddy. You're going to have to be in God to come through like God. Somebody had to do that before you done it. You know what I'm saying? Paul, a servant of Yahushua HaMashiach, called to be an apostle, separated unto the gospel of Elohim, which he promised afore by his prophets in the Kodesh scriptures, concerning his son Yahushua HaMashiach our Lord, which was made of the seed of David according to the flesh, and declared to be the son of Elohim with power according to the spirit of Kodesh by the resurrection of the dead. So when we turn around and we look at that, doesn't it look like he made the house of David as God? Ooh. And don't y'all realize all this him being the first fruits of them that slept, and them magnifying themselves, and he got to save the tents of Judah first, that we can have hope in the Mashiach, is all the love which this man had towards us. Because don't you realize after this man loved us and rose from the dead, he sat down and taught his disciples the whole book was about him? Because love instructs, knowledge puff up. See, them people came to ask the Lord all these questions because they thought they had some knowledge, but when in actuality they possessed nothing. Let's finish Ecclesiastes chapter 12. And it's one way or another we'll knock off 1 Corinthians 7 and 8, and then knock off Isaiah 48, and then knock off Nehemiah 13. And I'll get to John chapter 11 in just a moment, about verse 50. So when we look at verse 11 one more time, how the words of the wise as gold, and as nails fastened by the masters of assemblies, which are given for one shepherd, which we dealt with in the past. Y'all know what that means. He said, and further, listen to what he said, and further, by these my son be admonished of many books, there is no end, and much study is weariness of the flesh. See, let me tell y'all something, man. Brother was telling me about it earlier today, man. Niggas around here talking about quasars and chakras and mysticism. I see niggas on my timeline, man. They start falling off and stuff. And you know where that come from? Reading too many books. You know what I'm saying? Paul told you they come to entice you with man's wisdom. You know what I'm talking about? So we don't come to entice you with man's wisdom. You ain't got to go get it, but I'm just going to reference because I don't want to quote the man wrong what he said. But it's 1 Corinthians chapter 2, which I'm referencing. This man say his speech and his preaching was not enticing words of man's wisdom, but a demonstration of the spirit and power, that your faith should not stand in the wisdom of men, but the power of the Most High. You know what I'm saying? These niggas be coming at you talking about metaphysics. Is that man's wisdom or is that the Most High's wisdom? That's man's wisdom. That's all that Malachi Z. York came with. That's all that, and I'm going to go ahead and mention his name now. That's all that Noble Drew Ali, the head of the Lord Science Temple. That's all he came with. Who started that? Because he's been dead for a long time. You know what I'm saying? The Shriners and the Masons and the men who started that, they came with man's wisdom. Yahweh ben Yahweh, man's wisdom. You know what I'm saying? Polite and all these other niggas, that's man's wisdom. That's what they come at you with. This is why the Most High told you, man, don't fool with them people, don't be like them. That ain't nothing wrong with reading. You know what I'm talking about? But you got to be aware and cognizant of what you're reading, why you're reading it, and then if you spend all your time, don't you know it's all, some people all they want to do is just learn. Matter of fact, hold what you got. Look at Acts chapter 17. Look what Paul say all the Greeks want to do. That's why Paul told you in 1 Corinthians chapter 1, he said the Yahudim seek after a sign, the Greeks seek after knowledge. See, because the Greeks, that's all they want to do is read, son. And guess what we done turned around and doing? We didn't want to read anything. We done went from not reading nothing to we'll read anything. You know what I'm saying? And don't care what it is. Acts chapter 17, verse 18. There are certain philosophers of the Epicureans and of the Stoics encountered him and said, what will this babbler say? Others some he seemed to be a setter forth of strange gods, because he preached unto them Yahusha and the resurrection. And they took him and brought him unto Apollogius, saying, may we know what this new doctrine whereof thou speak is? For thou bring certain things, certain strange things to our ears. We would know therefore what these things mean. For all the Athenians and the strangers which were there spent their time at nothing else, but either to tell or to hear some new thing. That's all they really want to do. Tell and hear something new. Well, I found a new doctrine. See, when you actually read this chapter right here, you read this verse, see, this really what it meant. Because see, this is the mystical meaning. You are a mystical fool. You know what I'm saying? This is what happened. Don't y'all sit back and you realize that and you see that with most people that that's all they really want to do is hear some new doctrine or set forth something new. When the book tells you to seek the old paths and the ancient ways and you'll find rest for your soul, we ain't looking for nothing new. We're looking for that which was already had been. Yeah, I mean, man, nigga on crack, man. I know you. It's alright, nigga on drugs. Come on back to we good in Ecclesiastes. Well, let's read verse 13 of Ecclesiastes chapter 12. Nigga just crazy, man. Nigga don't know chakras is the kundali. You know what I'm saying? That's straight Krishna. That's straight Hindu. There ain't no Yahudi got no really talking about no chakras. I read about chakras in prison. We're thinking about no 7 wheels of light, no pineal gland, atrophian. All that stuff I'm talking about. Go back to that book I told y'all about the other night. God, man, word made flesh. Niggas be spitting and regurgitating. That's why I tell you, man, most niggas just regurgitate stuff. Most of the stuff niggas say, man, I done forgot this stuff because I was reading this stuff 10, 12 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And niggas come on up and how could you speak against the metaphysical? That's what it is. No, nigga, you just want to learn something new to sound smart, to try to draw people with man's wisdom. We're going to try to let people face stand in the power of the Most High Yah by way of his son Yahusha, not by man's wisdom. That's not what the servants of the Most High do. First 30. No, it ain't just like enough people dealing with no Egyptologists, niggas who say they follow this book who mess with that. You know what I'm saying? They ain't talking about we ain't no conscious community. They claiming they Israelites. They claiming they serve Yah. But you gotta understand something I'm sitting here telling y'all. People do this because niggas want to seem like they smart. When you seem like you smart and you know this and you know that, that can gain you followers and attention because most people want to be seen as if they learned some new thing that ain't nobody else know. It says, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Elohim and keep the commandments. For this is the whole duty of man. That's your job. You go to Mashiach kept his. That's your job. That's your duty. That's what you ought to do. Y'all hear me? Let's go back to John 11 and 50. Let's clean that up. Then we'll go to Isaiah 48, knock that out. It's only finna be 11 o'clock. It's alright. I still got about 30 minutes. 11:49. Make it 48. So you see it again, these people finna magnify themselves against this man. I'll start at 47. Then gathered the chief priests and Pharisees, a council, and said, what do we, for this man do many miracles? And if he let us alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation. And one of them, named Cappius, being the high priest that same year, said unto them, you know nothing at all, nor consider that it is expedient for us that one man should die for the people, and that the whole nation perish not. And this spake he not of himself, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Yahushua should die for that nation, and not for that nation only, but that also he should gather together in one the children of Elohim that was scattered abroad. Well, y'all know from many other places he said that he would gather us from the four corners of the earth wherever he scattered us at, right? We go to Ezekiel chapter 5 to see that, Jeremiah chapter 30, you know what I'm saying? Deuteronomy 28, Isaiah chapter 11, you know what I'm talking about? When we come back and you look at Acts chapter 2, you see that it said that Yahudim came from all over the world to come to Jerusalem for that feast, right? Because he scattered everywhere. So you got to realize, and Cappius just let you know this, that man loved the whole house of Yasharah, because these people were magnifying themselves against him to kill him. So he let it be known, I got to save this man first. So they don't be around here magnifying themselves against him as if we great or we better. We killed that nigga. We got our place in nation. You know what I'm saying? Oh no, little buddy. You don't get your place in nation. Because it was never your place nor your nation. You know what I'm saying? That's why he said, I rejected the whole seed of Yasharah and only Yehuda remained. That's why he said, I got to save the tents of Yehuda first. Because he just said, all the children of the Most High, they scattered everywhere. Only Judah's here. You know what I'm saying? The son is here. So I'm going to save him. And I'm going to make him strong. And I'm going to make him with God. And I'm going to save him. And in doing that saving, that saved all of us. Romans 9:1. Again, this is not saying that you can't, because you know we don't rock like that. You know, a lot of dudes rock like that. They always tell me you trying to save these heathens. But we trying to save anybody who want to serve God. I don't even know why the nigga make that statement, you trying to save these heathens. Because you sit back saying anybody can get the word. Because we got too much book to back anybody can get the word. Do we not? Got too much for it. It's like when you say that, hey man, anybody want to serve the Most High, man, they going to be saved. You trying to save these heathens. That means you would be purposely going out and say, Mr. Arabic man, I want you to hear this good news so you can be saved. I want you to hear this gospel. Repent, the kingdom is at hand. Or Mr. Asian man, or Mr. White man. You know what I'm saying? Man, we just out here hearing the word. He that has ears to hear, let him hear. You hear, you do it, thank the Lord. That was the Lord's will. You know what I'm saying? Niggas is fools. And fools for fun at that. 9:1. I say the truth in the Mashiach, I lay not. My conscience also bear me witness in the Ruach HaKodesh, that I have great heaviness and continual sorrow in my heart. For I could wish that myself were cursed from a Mashiach for my brethren, my kinsmen according to the flesh, who are Yasharalites, to whom pertain the adoption, and the glory, and the covenants, and the giving of the law, and the service of Elohim, and the promises, whose are the fathers. You already said whose are the fathers. So you got to understand something now. The adoption, that esteem, that glory, those agreements, that law, that service, that was because of your fathers. That was theirs. You got to understand, did he not make the oath with Abraham? Did he not confirm that oath with Isaac? Did he not confirm that oath with Jacob? So by product, because he did that, then it comes down to us, now doesn't it? And it says, whose are the fathers, of whom concerning the flesh Hamashiach came, who is over all, and Elohim blessed forever, so be it. So when you try to look at it, that love that he had been struck, come on back to Isaiah 48, bring it full circle. Before we work these Shriners and Nova Drew Ali back in here. Old Nova Drew Ali. How many of y'all have heard of Nova Drew Ali? I want everybody to speak at one time. Isaiah 48 and about verse 15. Listen to what he says. Even I have spoken. Yea, I have called him. I have brought him. He shall make his way prosperous. Come ye near unto me. Hear ye this. I have not spoken in secret. From the beginning, from the time that it was, there am I. And thou, Yahuwah, and his Ruach have sent me. Thus saith Yahuwah thy Redeemer, the Kodesh one of Yasharal, I am Yahuwah thy Elohim. Listen to what he say, which teach thee to profit, which lead thee by the way that thou should go. Now from verse 15 to verse 17, gentlemen, what did you gather from that? What did y'all gather from that? Will everybody speak at one time? Now I knocked down my beverage. Ain't nobody said a word. Well, he said that I, even I, have spoken and I called him. And I brought him. And I will make his way prosperous. Well, let's look how he called him. Let's look how he brought him. Let's look how he made him prosperous. Let's see if he did not speak in secret. And let's see that now if the Ruach son him. If the Ruach son him. And he said, from that time that it was, there am I, meaning I was there. Y'all alright? Y'all done got quiet again. Ain't nobody alive but you there like this. I hear you, Devil now. 1:18. It say Devil 12 now. I don't know about nobody else. Cord. I know Cord ought to be allowed all that coffee on. Probably around here swinging off the ceiling. 12 right behind. He says, so all the generations of Abraham to David. I'm sorry, I said verse 18. Now the birth of Yahushua HaMashiach was on this wise. Whereas his mother, Mary, was espoused to Joseph before they came together, she was found with child. Come on, man, type up. Of the Ruach HaKodesh. Then Joseph, her husband, being a just man, and not willing to make her a public example, was minded to put her away privily. But while he thought of these things, behold, the angel of Yahuwah appeared unto him in a dream, saying, Joseph, thou son of David, fear not to take unto thee Mary thy wife. Nigga around here asleep. That was that good. For that which is conceived in her is of the Ruach HaKodesh. And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Yahushua. He shall save his people from their sins. What y'all think that means? Does that not sound like I called him? Huh? Then he say, I brought him. Well, let's see how he brought him. Let's look at Matthew chapter 3. Let's see how he brought him. And we're going to sit back and see if he son him. See if his spirit son him. Then we're going to sit back and look and see if he made his way prosperous. Then we're going to sit back and see did he speak in secret. 3 and 13. Matthew 3 and 13, no, he said, I come near me, I have not spoken in secret from the beginning. Man, I ain't kept this hidden from you now. I told you. 3 and 13, Matthew. Then come Yahushua from Galilee to Jordan unto Yachanan to be immersed of him. But Yachanan forbade him, saying, I have need to be immersed of thee, and come down to me. And Yahushua answering said unto him, suffer it to be so now, for thus it become us to fulfill all righteousness. Then he suffered him. And Yahushua, when he was immersed, went up straightway out of the water, and lo, the Shamayim were open unto him, and he saw the Spirit of the Most High descending like a dove lighting upon him, and lo, a voice from Shamayim saying, this is my beloved Son, and whom I'm well pleased. And then you see in the first verse of the 4th chapter of this book, it says the Spirit led him up to the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights to be tempted of the devil. And then you begin to see that the Spirit led him out of the wilderness, and you know what he began to do? Look at verse 17 of the very same chapter, book of Matthew, in the 4th chapter, and look what it says. From that time, Yahushua began to preach and to say, repent, for the kingdom of Shamayim is at hand. Did not the Ruach of Yahuwah send him to do it? Let's look at it. He say from the beginning, there and also, John 1 and 1. He said, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with Elohim, and the Word was Elohim, and the same was in the beginning with Elohim. So he just told you in the beginning, what did he say? Come ye near unto me, hear ye this. I have not spoken in secret from the beginning, from the time that it was, there am I. From the time when it was, I was there. Because you got to go back to the verse, a couple verses above that, when he talking about that he did what? Span the heavens, span the Shamayim, and laid the foundation of the earth. I was there. I was there. I was there. Then he said, I hadn't spoken in secret either. See, the testimony of a Mashiach was kept secret, but this word wasn't kept secret. Let's look at what the Lord told him in John 18. See if he told him, I ain't told you nothing in secret. I said everything in the open. Matter of fact, look at John chapter 7 before we even get to that. John 7 and 1. Then we'll go to John 18 and about 19. He said, after these things, Yahushua walked in Galilee, for he would not walk in Jewry, because the Yahudim sought to kill him. Now the Yahudim's feast of the tabernacles was at hand. His brethren therefore said unto him, depart hence and go into Judea, that the disciples also may see the work that thou do. For there is no man that do anything in secret, and he himself seek to be known openly. Because he said, I have not spoken in secret. Look what his brothers, this is his brothers talking to him. This is Yahushua's brothers talking to him. His blood brothers, this is who's talking to him. He said, there is no man that do anything in secret, and he himself seek to be known openly. If thou do these things, show thyself to the world. For neither did his brethren believe in him. Then Yahushua said unto them, my time is not yet come, but your time is always ready. The world cannot hate you, but me it hate, because I testify of it, and the works thereof are evil. Go ye up unto this feast. I go not yet up unto this feast, for my time is not yet full come. Now he told him that, but the master came in behind him later, and he showed himself openly. You see that and look at it. Now look what he said in John chapter 18, verse 19. He said, I ain't kept nothing secret from the beginning. He said, I haven't spoken in secret. Meaning, see, you got a lot of people, man, when they come to preaching the word and did that, there, and the other, they ain't going to get out in the open. They don't want to be known. They don't want to be seen. They don't want nobody to know they're doing it. See, that goes back to perfect love cast out fear, because they're fearful. Fearful what man can do to them. That's why David said, I don't fear man what man can do unto me. My trust is in Yahuwah. I will do not fear man and what man can do to me. The number one thing with a lot of y'all, man, why you might not be able to make it, is when the rubber hit the road and things hit the fan, and these people come to start seeking your life, well, a lot of y'all going to be fearful and you going to fold. You ain't going to want to be seen in the open. You going to fold. You're not going to stand boldly like Hananiah, Azariah, and Mishael did. You're not going to be bold like Daniel wore. You're not going to be bold like Jeremiah wore. You're not going to be bold like Hamashiach wore. You're going to be fearful. 18 and 19. And the high priest then asked Yahushua of his disciples and of his doctrine. Yahushua answered him, I spake openly to the world. I ever taught in the synagogue and in the temple, whither the Yahudim always resort, and in secret have I said nothing. Oh man. You wonder why he told the people that. Because Isaiah already told. Can we read anywhere where in secret this man said anything? Don't everybody answer at one time. Listen, verse 20. Look at verse 21. He said, why ask thou me? Look what he said. What you asking me for? He said, ask them which heard me, what I have said unto them. Behold, they know what I said. See, that's confidence right there. What you asking me for? Ask the people who heard me. They know what I said. Because I ain't said nothing in secret. 1 Timothy 3 and 14. I ain't said nothing in secret. You thank the Lord. That's why Paul said I preach the good news boldly as I ought to speak. You know what I'm saying? What you mean? I ain't hiding nowhere. Verse 14, 1 Timothy 3. And it says, these things write I unto thee, hoping to come unto thee shortly. But if I tarry long, that thou may know how thou ought to behave thyself in the house of Elohim, which is the synagogue of the living Elohim, and the pillar and ground of the truth. Not tonight. Maybe this afternoon. Something come to my mind on that. Maybe we'll touch on it. Sooner rather than later. And without controversy, great is the mystery of God. Because you got to remember, the mystery of Hamashiach just means it's a hidden truth. It's not that it was spoken in secret. It's just the truth of it was secret. But that word wasn't secret. It said Elohim was manifest in the flesh, justified in the spirit, seen of Malachim, preached unto the heathen, believed on in the world, received up into esteem. That means they had to see. If he preached in the world, that means it wasn't a secret. That's why they say Kodesh men and Yehudah were moved as they spoke by the Ruach HaKodesh. Ain't nothing done secret. That's why the Lord told you, man, I ain't said nothing in secret because it's already written. Now he said he make his way prosperous. How did he make his way prosperous? He said, I'm the Kodesh one of Yasharah. I teach thee the prophet. See, look at Ephesians 4. Y'all all right. I know we take it in a lot. We still got 1 Corinthians 7 and 8 and Nehemiah 13 to knock off the table. And we ain't holding nothing else. I ain't missed nothing. We done touched everything. We ain't missed nothing. If I did, well, maybe y'all tell me to do it. It's all right. Let me see. Ephesians 4, man. Look at about verse 19. He said, who being past feeling have given themselves over unto lasciviousness to work all uncleanness with greediness. But you have not so learned Hamashiach. If so be that you have heard of him and have been taught by him, as the truth is in you. If you've been taught by him, you had to be taught by him because he loved you. He had to instruct you because love instructs. The law that he gave to lay his life down with the instruction to teach you the way that you could go for your own gain. That's why I say your labor in the Lord is not in vain. There is a reward. There is a gain. But you got to be steadfast in your confidence, in your hope, to the end that you don't lose the reward for which you work for. That's why the Lord told you, don't let no man take your ground. He said, what you have heard, hold fast. He said that you put off concerning the former behavior of the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind, and that you put on the new man, which after Elohim is created in righteousness and in true Kodesh. So this man came to teach you the way that you ought to go because love edified, love instruct, because he so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever should believe on him should not perish. And who has overcome the world, but he that believes that Yahushua is the Son of the Most High. And if you believe that he is the Son of the Most High, then you will walk as he walked, that the love of the Most High may be perfected in you, be made complete. See, he loved you enough to instruct you in the way that you ought to go. Y'all follow me on that? Let's finish 1 Corinthians chapter 8. We'll get back to how he made his way prosperous. I'll knock that out in a minute. Let me knock out, which is Isaiah 48. Let me knock out the rest. Let me knock out these things we've been holding and we got to finish round. Matter of fact, let me knock down 25 in 1 Corinthians chapter 7 because we round now. We started way earlier. Way earlier. I could have dropped it, but I ain't going to drop. We started way earlier looking out. There was no way that Solomon's wives were pleased to dwell with him because they sought to live contrary to the word. So there was no way they were pleased to do that. You know what I'm saying? There was no way. So then we turn around and we look at that what he did is because of doing that, his heart went after them. But see, look at something that he said. Now, I told y'all now, I'm telling y'all to those of y'all that ain't married, that maybe want to be married. I know nobody want to be alone. And it ain't just got to be because some of you niggas are freaky and just want to be swapping bodily fluids. You know what I'm talking about? I know some people want a companion. He said, now concerning virgins, I have no commandment of the Lord, yet I give my judgment as one that has obtained mercy of the Lord to be faithful. I suppose, therefore, that it is good for the present distress. I say that it is good for a man so to be. Art thou bound unto a wife? Seek not to be loosed. Art thou loosed from a wife? Seek not a wife. But then if thou marry, thou hast not sinned. And if a virgin marry, she have not sinned, nevertheless such shall have trouble in the flesh, but I spare you. And that's why I'm sitting back looking at this here. That's what Solomon ended up getting in trouble at in the flesh because of the wives that he had. They ended up troubling him. They ended up troubling him. They ended up troubling him. Because he's sitting back to satisfy his flesh and to satisfy these women. He went and did things that he didn't have any business doing. And I'm telling y'all this for this reason here. Don't be around here. Don't let your flesh get you in trouble because you're seeking to satisfy your flesh to keep somebody when they're not pleased to dwell with you. Because if they please to dwell with you, they're going to walk with what their book say. You know what I'm saying? Don't let your flesh get you in trouble. See, that's what got Solomon in trouble. So he ended up messing with Moab and they gods. Just like we look at Nehemiah. Let's look at Nehemiah 13 to finish that there. Before I hit 1 Corinthians chapter 8. And then we start talking about Mr. Noble Drew Ali. See, let me like to say, because I was telling y'all about that Shriners Temple, right? See, that Shriners Temple down there. See, some of y'all don't know who Laurel and Hardy is. Some of y'all know who Laurel and Hardy is. I ain't mad at you if you don't. See, Jacksonville, Florida was known as the winter film capital of the world. See, they came here in the wintertime to shoot movies. The reason being is that before Hollywood, California became Hollywood, California, that was Jacksonville, Florida. Jacksonville, Florida was their intended spot for what you now call Hollywood, California. How many of y'all knew that? Yeah, Laurel and Hardy was some comedians from the early 1900s, maybe early 1920s, in silent films. So they were very, very famous at that time. It even states that in that spot that President William Howard Taft and Theodore Roosevelt and Shirley Temple and numerous other celebrities performed in that place because that was the only auditorium in town until the Jacksonville Auditorium was constructed in 1960. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, that Shriners Temple, that's a place of worship. I'm working it back in, guys, I said, because truth be told, Noble Drew Ali modeled what he did after these Shriners and all this type of stuff. But yeah, Jacksonville was supposed to be what Los Angeles, California is today. And I've had conversations with people who are from here who are aware of that and privy to that information, that there is no telling what this city would have been like if that would have happened. You know what I'm saying? Because this if you've been here and you ride around, this is a perfect place to shoot movies at. You know what I'm saying? You got beaches. You got many different land areas. You can shoot movies for days here. And that Shriner Temple downtown was one of the biggest attractions. So you know these people were worshiping all manner of devils and demons in that place. But we'll get to it in a minute. Let's finish Nehemiah 13. I'm going to read verse 23 one more time, and then I'm going to drop down to verse 26. I'm going to read verse 23 one more time. In those days also I saw Yahudim that married the wives of Ashdod, of Ammon, and of Moab. I've been focusing on Moab for a reason. You'll see it in a moment. Come on down here to verse 26. Did not Solomon king of Yasharal sin by these things? Yet among many nations there was no king like him, who was beloved of his Elohim. And Elohim made him king over all Yasharal. Nevertheless, even him did outlandish women call to sin. Don't y'all even sit back and realize that's a testimony of the Lord? Because There's no king like Yahushua. And you already heard the Father say in Matthew chapter 3, this is my beloved Son in whom I'm well pleased. And you already know from Luke chapter 1 that the Most High made him king over all Yasharal. And he had to become sin because of the outlandish horse woman named Yasharal. All you got to do is go read Ezekiel chapter 16. Oh, y'all didn't even realize that you see that King Solomon fallen in the transgression because he wise served of God. You didn't realize that was a testimony of the Lord in you? Oh, man. See, this is what I mean right here. See, if you don't know the word, and there ain't nobody to preach the word and teach the word to you, then niggas like Malachi Z. York and some of these Hebrew Israelite groups and, who else I'm thinking about? And Polite and, Yahweh Ben Yahweh and, Noah Drew Ali and, Farrar Muhammad and Elijah Muhammad and Louis Farrakhan. Man, that puts you in the Cobra Clutch. You'll be done. Yeah, I don't know who that is. Who that is? No, I'm talking about who you talking about, whose name you just called. Oh yeah, that's the biggest one, because you know Israelites, they're big on that, tell you can teach yourself. I know most of y'all have heard that. You don't need no man to teach you, because the Ruach will guide you in all truth. And you sit there looking at that, have I received that yet? Where you got that, brother, because you an Israelite. But I don't think I read nowhere that because I'm an Israelite, I automatically got this spirit. I don't believe you, sir, upon further investigation. Listen to what he said, verse 27. He says, shall we then hearken unto you to do all this great evil, to transgress against our Elohim and marrying strange wives? And one of the sons of Jehovah, the son of Lishbib, the high priest, was the son-in-law of Sanballat, the Hornite. Therefore I chased him from me. Remember them, O my Elohim, because they have defiled the priesthood and the covenant of the priesthood and of the Levites. This is what he said. Thus cleansed I them from all strangers, and appointed the wards of the priests of the Levites, everyone in his business. And for the wood offering at times appointed, and for the first fruits, remember me, O my Elohim, for good. Did you not realize when the Mashiach was on that tree, what was he? What's the treatment? Well, he was a wood offering. We already read in 1 Corinthians 15 at the times appointed. And don't you realize when it was time for him to die, he told him, it's my time. And he was a wood offering at the time appointed. Don't you realize when he sat back and he said, oh, Eli, lama sabachthani, my power, why hast thou forsaken me? And then at the appointed time, because he told him, when did he tell the people he was going to raise from the dead? When did he tell the people he was going to raise from the dead? On the third day, and he just said, and for the first fruits, remember me. Then we already read 1 Corinthians chapter 15 where he said he was the first fruits of them that slept. So don't you realize, and then we already read this in Acts chapter 2 where he said he will not suffer his Kodesh one to see corruption. Does that not mean, remember, Nehemiah is the governor, and the governor was made as fire. You know what I'm talking about? He was tried by fire, going through the furnace of affliction, being made a burnt offering, being the wood offering, and then being the first fruits, and the Father remembered him at that time for his good, because he had to make his way prosperous. Y'all didn't catch all that? Now how you catch this here? I cleanse them from all strangers and appointed the wards of the priests and Levites, every one of his business. How did he cleanse them from strangers? How did he appoint them to their business? Who is he talking about appointing to his business? What do y'all think this means? Come on now, work with me now. Come on now. Y'all be extra quiet. I ain't let me live right now. Huh? Say it like you mean it. Stop mumbling. Say it like you mean it, man. Say it with some confidence. Don't y'all sit back and realize that he told us, what did he tell the apostles not to do? So don't that mean he would have cleansed them from all strangers? Don't that mean if he tells them where to go and how to go and what to do, ain't him appointing Levites or priests because they joined to him to be in their business? Come on, man. Now, how do people be missing all this stuff? This is what we're sitting back looking at. Now, come on back to 1 Corinthians chapter 8 before we finish out Isaiah 48 and call it the evening. We at 2:07. Yeah, it's 11:25. Everybody all right? Y'all still reading first verse of 1 Corinthians chapter 8. Then I'm gonna read y'all something about Noble Drew Ali. Matter of fact, I'm gonna read it right now before I even read this here, before I even forget about it. I'm gonna read this to you. It says Drew reported. Now Noble Drew Ali said he reported during his travels he met with the high priest of Egyptian magic. We know from the law what happened to them Egyptian magicians, right? In one version of Drew's biography, the leader saw him as a reincarnation of the founder, while in others, the priest considered Drew a reincarnation of Jesus, because we're not going to say Jews. They got it right. You know what I'm saying? Of Jesus, the Buddha, Muhammad, and other religious prophets. According to the biography, the high priest trained Drew in mysticism and gave him a lost section of the Quran. Ain't that something? He got lost stuff. I told you I read that in prison. And the text came to be known as the Holy Quran of the Modern Science Temple of America, which is not to be confused with the Islamic Quran. It is also known as the Circle 7 Quran, because of its cover, which feature a red 7 surrounded by a blue circle. Listen what he said he took his book from. Drew took parts of his book from the Roscurian work unto thee I grant. I had a book on the Roscurians in prison. I didn't even finish it because it was that disturbing. It was 2 books I didn't finish in prison. One was the Secret of All Ages by Manly P. Hall, a 33rd degree Freemason. And me coming into the Word after I got out of prison, I realized that was a book of witchcraft. And that's the reason why son said to me, like, what? Get this book out your locker. Like, I had always kept seeing the book and I wanted to read it. You know what I'm saying? And when I got it, I'm seeing a little picture of Mephistopheles. Like, I don't realize that Mephistopheles is a demon. You know what I'm saying? I don't know this at this time. But I'm looking at the photograph and how it's described, like, this is a demon. Because the picture of somebody is conjuring up spirits. And it's a little ugly looking thing. You know what I'm saying? Something like this here, man. Don't finish, man. You ain't finna finish that book. I say, shoot, I don't want to finish it. I took it right back to the nigga I got it from. The nigga named Ali. You know what I'm saying? Gave it right back to him. He the one gave me the Rosicrucian book. Man, I want to read that stuff. I gave it right back to him. I said, I'm good, man. I don't want to finish that. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't even read about no word. And I like to read. But even then, I thank the Lord he gave me that back because all that reading can be weirdness to the flesh. You know what I'm saying? He put that down. I want to read. It ain't even puffing up because he ain't using it as far as, oh, I think I know more than you or I'm better than you. You know what I'm saying? You looking for information. But the information is so disturbing and startling, I don't even want it no more. You know what I'm saying? See, some of y'all ain't never picked up a book and went to read it and you like, you know what? I thought I wanted to know what was in this book. I don't really want to know what's in this book. I forgot to give y'all. God. Should have had a VA. You know what I'm saying? Just hit my head right down nowhere and I forgot to get a yogurt. I think I went to think about chocolate milk and all of a sudden I forgot I got a yogurt. You know what I'm saying? Y'all bear with me. Okay now. It says that he came from the Rosicrucian book unto thee I grant. And most of it from the Aquarian Gospel of Jesus the Christ. Have any of y'all ever heard of the Aquarian Gospel of Jesus the Christ? Well, we know the Aquarian Gospel of Jesus the Christ. I heard that too, and guess what? I had an opportunity to read that too. It was a bunch of my law there. I'm like, I don't want to finish this book. I don't believe it. And I forget the name of what they call it, but it was a white dude I was in prison with. There's a particular religion you can profess in prison. Because you're only supposed to allow like certain number of spiritual books from whichever religion you profess. You know what I'm saying? Like I told you, when I go to prison, I told him, man, I'm a Muslim. God figured if I tell you that, you leave me alone. You know what I'm saying? All the Christian people, all that type of stuff, they look at your file and see that and leave you alone. Plus, I know that them people denoted Islam with militant, being militant. You know what I'm saying? I'm letting you know, I'll bust your dome if these boys pop off. Truth be told, you know what I'm saying? If these boys pop off, I'm going to shank a seal. I just want you to know this. I'm going to stab you right in your throat. You know what I'm saying? Y'all think it's a game now. Y'all just talk. My old boy Booty. If can't nobody tell you, Booty know. that I could have went in that prison system with 5 years and turned it into a life sentence if them boys was willing to pop off. Your mother would have been highly upset with me, but I think she'd understood. Because if them boys would have popped off, boy, I'm riding. If they really want to do something, I was with it. What I want to stab inmates for? Let's stab an officer or two. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. Inmate ain't doing nothing to me. I stabbed your CO right in there. You beat somebody up somewhere down the line. You deserved it. You know what I'm saying? You did something to deserve it. That's how I looked at it. I was young. I was in prison. I turned 25 a week after I got to prison. You know what I'm saying? So I was still young. So I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? It's whatever. You can do whatever you want to do. Nigga, I am not scared. You know what I'm saying? Even on the street. And like nigga tell you, fat boy to tell you, that anytime something wanted to pop off, I would be the one organizing, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? And tell niggas, I know you was going to tell me. You know what I'm saying? That I organized this and put this together, and I do not care. What y'all want to do? Oh man, they gonna do it. And I tell you, man, you niggas sound like hoes, man. All you niggas complaining, and when a nigga pull your car and be like, well, what you want to do, we can make that happen. And you see that I'm serious. And I'm serious when I say it. Oh man, cause I was with it. You understand? When I came up, man, I ain't gonna say I idolized it, man, cause that's going too far. But I felt Malcolm X. You know what I'm saying? I really like him. My mama didn't feed me Martin Luther King. She fed me X. You know what I'm saying? I'm 11, 12 years old on that type of time. You know what I'm saying? I was with that. That didn't make no difference. To sit back and reading his autobiography and then seeing that movie, like, you know what I'm talking about? That man was with it. Like, he was this one up. You know what I'm talking about? We can do it however you want to do it. Oh yeah, man, I'm with that all day. I'm with that all day. We can make it happen. We can do whatever you want, man. I ain't with no hungry squad. You can bust some dogs. You know what I'm saying? Y'all want to get their knives and stab an officer? We can stab it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all want to come on school grounds and walk off and do something crazy? I'm with it. Straight up. I'm going to take the fall. And you can tell them I set it up. Because I know what niggas going to do. Niggas hoes, they going to tell. You know what I'm saying? That person get hot first 48 all day. You ain't got to give him a cigarette and a bird. I tell you who it is, man. I just can't go to prison, man. I can't go. Niggas ain't got no testicles, man. Mango niggas, man. All day. And it's not because I'm hard or nothing like that. I just was with it. That was just in me. I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? When we was in the street talking about wanting to do something to somebody, that's like, I wasn't with that like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't get amped up. Oh, unless it's somebody close to me. Okay, what you want to do? And even still, I ain't amped up like that. But if you want to do something to them, I'm with you. I'm around with you. You know what I'm saying? We do whatever you want. But that didn't get me excited to do harm to my own people. That didn't get me excited. Never been like that. I ain't never wanted to harm my own people. But boy, go against the government, well, I've been wanting to bust their head since a teenager. I was with it. I was with it. You know what I'm saying? The Lord had to show me that coming in the word that's not the way to go about how you want to do it. You can't do it like that, son. You're going to get yourself killed and you're going to go to hell. You know what I'm saying? Listen what it said about the Korean Gospel of Jesus the Christ, published in 1908 by esoteric Ohio preacher Levi Dowling. So you notice a white man. A black man co-opted his teachings from Caucasians. You know what I'm saying? But they took it from us. But your foundational doctrine come from them. That sounds about right. In the Aquarian Gospel, Dowling described Jesus' supposed travels to India. See, they say, I done read this stuff before. See, they say he went to India and Asia and all these places and he learned all that Kundalini stuff and the chakras and all that type of junk. Man, you smoking drugs. Why would that man go way out there talk to y'all for? What would he go preach to y'all for? We know what our law say. We just look at it tonight. I love y'all for out with them. I came, according to the flesh, I came for them. Because the covenant and the service and the promises, all of that was made to them. What I'm coming way out there for? Man, I get me a preacher or two and send them out there to preach this word to y'all. I bet. Why would the Lord come learn from Buddha? See, that's where they come on with that Christ consciousness junk. And you know, Oprah Winfrey is a big propagator of that Christ consciousness. That's New Age doctrine. That's New Age doctrine. You know what I'm saying? So I think that, look, man, I'm telling you something, man. Prison was a horrible thing. But it ended up being a blessing in disguise because of a lot of information I was privy to. A lot of it I was, because I was telling you, like, you could only have a certain amount of books, whatever your religion, but I can't remember what it was. But there was a particular religion you could profess where you could have every book on every religion. Like, I read the book by Madam V. Blasky from the Theosophy. That's what it is, a theosophy. A theosophy believes in all religions. Thank the Lord. That's what it is, a theosophy. I read that book. You know what I'm saying? Despicable. You'll be surprised how many people follow the teachings of Madam V. Blasky to this day. Some of y'all don't even know who that is. You can do your research on it. You know what I'm saying? She's a wicked woman. Nevertheless, this is what he said, right? And he said, Drew used for all, he used a term called Asiatic. You ever hear something, you the original man, Asiatic black man, you know, you hear the New York nigga say it all the time. You know what I'm saying? Because that comes from 5% teachers. And 5% teachers come from the Nation of Islam. And Nation of Islam come from the Moorish Science Temple. And Moorish Science Temple come from the crack of somebody's behind. You know what I'm saying? He said Asiatic. Yeah, I'm telling you, he fought it. That's straight diarrhea. It's water down, it's running. You know what I'm saying? He said Asiatic was the term Drew used for all dark or olive-colored people. He labeled all whites as European. He suggested that all Asiatics should be allied. Drew crafted more science from a variety of sources, a network of alternative spiritualities that focused on the power of the individual to bring about personal transformation through mystical knowledge of the divine within. Don't you see all these Hebrew Israelites? They stop and know what you all these teachers don't even know. And he did it from Caucasians. Because it just said this man took this from a network. You know what it is? A network. That means I took this from multiple. I already got lies from all over the place. You hear niggas talking about, see, you got to know the God within, brother. See, when Jesus said that the kingdom of God was within you, see, he understood the metaphysical and mythical principles. You know what I'm saying? So you got to tap into your pineal gland. See, it's calcified, brother. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell you that's how they be talking. And you sit. You know what I'm saying? And you sit. And you say it's calcified. Mine calcified, but you look like you high right now, sir. Your third eye. And see, my whole book. Hold on. I need it. See, let me tell you something. Listen. Listen to me. I want y'all to listen to me. Listen to me, man. Don't get all caught up in that. Listen to me. Now, you know the pituitary gland is the gland that secretes all your hormones, your growth hormone, and all that type of stuff. This is how you build muscle. See, I know about the glands because I'm a bodybuilder. So I need to know about my glands. You know what I'm saying? See, I want to know about my pituitary gland. Because, see, they talk to you about that pituitary. So you got to get your pituitary. I don't even let me get in there. All I do is lift some weights, and then get my testosterone up, and then that growth hormone come up, and when I ain't going to flex on camera. And when that growth hormone come, I get gains. You know what I'm saying? Because we after that. Your pineal gland operates other parts and aspects of your brain and other parts of your body. Mainly more control of your central nervous system, if I'm not mistaken. These niggas will come in and tell you all this stuff, niggas seem all deep and all this here. Nigga, you sound dumb. Glands don't do nothing but secrete hormones, sir. You know what I'm saying? All you need to do is basic physiology. You know what I'm saying? If you took basic human anatomy, you know that glands produce hormones or secretions for the body to function. You know what I'm saying? That's all it does. You ain't get no extra knowledge from your pineal gland that's right in the center of your forehead, brother. You know what I'm saying? See, niggas be spouting their enemy's doctrine, don't even know where they be getting this stuff from. This one sitting there telling you, that's why you say, how can you hear without a preacher? Because if you don't have somebody to preach your word, see, a lot of y'all don't come across this stuff. I know some of y'all do because y'all be on the internet. But I'm talking about, but most of y'all don't come across this stuff. You know what I'm saying? I came across this stuff before the internet. This was what I'm telling y'all. Ain't get on no Google, man. Ain't run across a nigga on Facebook, man. You know what I'm saying? Ain't get no YouTube video a nigga told me to watch. Nigga ran across this in real life. You know what I'm telling you? In real life. When you run across this stuff in real life, and then you turn around and you hear people try to spit it to you later, you be like, nigga, get your stupid butt out my face. You know what I'm saying? You sound like a real idiot right now. But a lot of y'all never hear this stuff before. If you don't hear the word beforehand, well, nigga make it sound real good to you. You know what I'm saying? They'll make it sound real good to you. Because you got to remember now, you sitting back looking at Jesus and you looking like, man, Jesus ain't making nothing happen. This sounding good right here. And they saying black people did it too. And you know what happens? Even though it's played out now. Got it. You got it. You got it. You got it. Yeah, I know it's all good. That's what I'm saying. Tell you, all this stuff I'm mentioning that. Glands don't do nothing but secrete hormones. That's all they do. You know what I'm saying? Any gland that you got, your endocrine glands, all they do is secrete bodily secretions for the body to function. That's all they do. You got numerous glands in your body. You got sweat glands. Can you tap into God with sweat glands? Or do you just sweat? See, the brother. I hear you. Listen. I want y'all to hear this here, man. Before I proceed to move on, because I got to get out of here. One of my brothers was talking to somebody in Detroit who fooled with that. And he was like, your third eye, tapping all this here. So he said, so why you ain't got a third nostril or a third ear? Because he said, using your concept of what you're saying, he said the nigga was stuck. You know what I'm saying? Man, when you actually ask these men sensible questions, they sit there and look like a fool. Let me finish reading the rest of this here. So this man says, after he's done that, he said, in the interwar years in Chicago and other major cities, Drew used these concepts to preach racial pride and uplift. His approach appealed to the thousands of African Americans who left the South. See, that's how they get you. See, they come with the knowledge, and they preach bright pride and upliftment and respect for yourself, and that's how they get you. Listen to what else he said. Drew claimed to have been anointed Noble Drew Ali the prophet. He launched into his career as the head of the Moore Science Temple of America. Drew taught his followers to face east when praying, regard Friday as their holy day. So he was keeping the same Sabbath that the Muslims keep. Call their God Allah. And their leader prophet. Moorish Americans are not obligated to follow Islam completely. They pray 5 times a day and travel to Mecca only if they choose to do so. Many hymns sung are recognizable as adapted from traditional Christian hymns common in black churches. But this is what we came here for. Drew believed that African Americans were all Moors who he claimed descended from the ancient Moabites, describing them as belonging to Northwest Africa as opposed to Moab, as the name suggests. That Islam and its teachings are more beneficial to their earthly salvation, and that their true nature has been withheld from them in traditions he founded. Male members wear a fez head covering, women wear a turban, and they added the suffixes Ali, Bey, or El to their surnames to signify their Moorish ways, their Moorish heritage, while taking on a new life as Moorish Americans. It was also a way to claim and proclaim a new identity other than that lost to slavery of their ancestors in the United States. Thus, a Moor could accept that his African tribal name may never be known to him or her, and that the European names they were given were not theirs either. So that's kind of the same way when they came with that El Hajj, Malik Shabazz, Lost Tribe of Shabazz. They just made something up. And then, he went around and making temples everywhere. And then it says that Wallace Fard Muhammad. Do y'all know who Wallace Fard Muhammad is? He is the founder of the Nation of Islam. They say he was Allah in the flesh. Do you know something about Wallace Fard Muhammad? Do you know what's interesting about Wallace Fard Muhammad? He was a white man. And this is what caused Clarence 13X, who started the Nation of Gods of the Earth, that you hear the New York dude saying peace God and all that. That's why he separated, because he said if the black man is God, how can he be white? And Wallace Fard Muhammad is the one who taught Elijah Muhammad. And Elijah Muhammad is the one who taught Malcolm X. And Elijah Muhammad in his book, Message to the Black Man, stated, before I was a Muslim, I was a Mason. I read that book myself. I'm not speaking from no secondhand information or no quote. I read that book for the first time in the trap house in December or maybe November 2004. Because see, I was known for reading books on the block and in the dope house. You know what I'm saying? I was like the only nigga around the way dope boy they knew kept books on him. They said this nigga got guns, crack, weed, and books. You know what I'm saying? I was known for it on the beach too. They're known for having weed, crack, and books. He's sitting right here in my car, reading a book, smoking a blunt, popping off smokers. Just because I said crack means what I can't read. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to lose a desire to read that I had long before I even thought about seventh grade. Well, Wallace Fard Muhammad was known within the temple as David Ford L. He said that he claimed to be the reincarnation of Drew Ali, but the leadership rejected him, and he broke away and started that, and the Nation of Islam rejects any historical connection with the Moorish Science Temple. Now, we read all that for one reason, because I told Shriners, remember this now, when you hear Shriner, you need to hear Ancient Arabic Order of the Mystic Shrine. Because when you become a Shriner, you cross over to the east and you become a Muslim. You know what I'm saying? And then you got these silly niggas, that's what it states now. When you cross over to become a Shriner, you cross over to the east, they start dealing with Islam. You know what I'm saying? But they really mocking. And so they really worshiping, they worshiping the same moon gods they didn't worship. But the key thing what we came there for is, you see those Moorish Science Temple dudes wearing the same things that the Shriners wear. And they say they follow Islam too, but the key thing about it was is they say you Moabites. And when they say you are Moabite, do you not realize that what we read in 2 Kings chapter 17 and what we read in Nehemiah chapter 13 and what we read in 2 Kings chapter 1 Kings chapter 11 was all about we got in trouble for doing what? Worshiping the gods of the Moabites, didn't it? So I want you to look at Deuteronomy 23 and 1 and look what he say about 23 and 3 and look what he say about the Moabite. That's why we had to talk about Deuteronomy, and that's why we're focusing on 23 and 3, and that's why we're focusing on the word Moabite when we read it. You understand what I'm saying? Because these people basically were telling you to make the Arab Solomon name. You know what I'm saying? Worship other God. And we'll finish with 1 Corinthians, we'll go to 1 Corinthians chapter 8, knock Isaiah 48 out, and get on out of here. It says, an Ammonite or a Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of Yahuwah, even to the 10th generation, they shall not enter into the congregation of Yahuwah forever. Because they met you not with bread and with water in the way when you came forth out of Mizraim, and because they hired against thee Balaam the son of Beor of Pethor of Mesopotamia to curse thee. Nevertheless, Yahuwah thy Elohim would not hearken unto Balaam, but Yahuwah thy Elohim turned the curse into a blessing unto thee, because Yahuwah Elohim loved thee. Just like a Mashiach became a curse, but he turned him into a blessing because he loved you. Y'all didn't even sit back and realize he said they didn't meet you with bread and water, but a Mashiach got married with bread and water. Ain't that something? Listen what he tell you. Thou shalt not seek their peace, nor their prosperity, all thy days forever. So ain't no black person got no business messing with no Moorish Science Temple. Because you basically saying, I'm seeking after the peace and prosperity of Moabite, when the law tell you not to do that. Because these people didn't meet you with bread and water. Because they sought to curse you and not get you a blessing. This man said they will not enter into the congregation of Yahuwah forever. They will not enter into the body of Yahushua forever. for not because they're Moabites, not because they're Ammonites, it's because of what they did. See, the Most High Yahuwah is not no racist. He didn't exclude these people because they were Ammonites or Moabites. You stinking bastards wanted somebody to curse my people and you tried to pay him to do it. You know what I'm saying? So I got an issue with you. This is why I tell you, if somebody come out and show themselves to be an enemy of y'all, that's why you got to be like David said, I deem thy enemies to be my enemies, and I hate them with a perfect hatred. Because you see what he did in your enemies? You tried to curse my people, I turned it into a blessing. I'm going to crash your dome. Because I'm going to fight against them that fight against you. You know what I'm saying? So you supposed to have that same love for y'all and for Yahushua. Somebody come up, it's the same way, like this is why Paul said, I got to stand in defense of the God. You can say what you want to say. I'm going to stand up in defense of Yahushua now. You ain't going to talk greasy for too long, because I'm going to stand up in the pain for him. You know why? Because he'll stand up in the pain for me. He's done it. He's shown that. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the reasons why we stopped messing with Michael Jordan. Boycott the nigga. You know what I'm saying? You talking greasy against the Lord? Oh, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? That's anybody, man. If you say Obama, he's going to stand up for the Lord. Oh, ain't wrong with you, man. 1 Corinthians chapter 8. And then when you turn around and you look at it, what did it say Noble Ali did? Took a whole bunch of gods and made them together, didn't they? Come on back to 1 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 1. It say, now if touching things offered unto idols, we know that we all have knowledge. Knowledge puff up, but charity edify. And if any man think that he know anything, he know nothing as he yet ought to know. But if any man laud the Most High, the same is known of him. As concerning therefore eating of those things that are offered in sacrifice unto idols, we know that an idol is nothing in the world, and that there is none other God but one. For though there be that are called gods, whether in Shamaim or in earth, as there be gods many and lords many. Well, they say, well, how can it only be gods and Shamaim? Because they're the queen of heaven, right? The whole of heaven, right? He say, but to us there is but one Elohim, the Father of whom are all things, and we in him, and one Lord, by Yahushua HaMashiach, by whom are all things, and we by him. See, to us it's only one, but we just read Double Deuteronomy, say it's a whole bunch of them. And then we'll sit here and tell me, the brother was telling me when he was talking to the other brother, oh, Allah, Krishna, Buddha, Ishtar, Ashtaroth, all of them the same. We just work them together under the same umbrella with y'all. That's pure insanity. We'll come back Sabbath day and talk about that a little more. But when we sit back and you look at this here, we ain't got to go back to Isaiah 48. When we sit back and look, we'll deal with it a little more in the daytime. When we sit back and look at Isaiah 48, he said, I'll teach thee in the way that you should go, in the way of the prophet, right? I'll make his way prosperous, right? You know, Yahushua said what? I'm the way, I'm the truth, and I'm the life. And no man come to the Father but by me. And you know he made his way prosperous because he gave him a kingdom, because he gave him eternal life, because he gave him all the things that pertain to the promise that he made. And if we are able to suffer with him, then we will be joint heirs with the Mashiach, and we will reign with him to get that same way. That's why he told you, walk in the way of Kodesh, he'll make your way prosperous. And I'm going to end it with this. Praise ye Yahuwah for Yahushua HaMashiach and for the word. Y'all understood all this stuff this evening? Because we got to start. We'll deal with it later on in the day.